Before we begin, this broadcast is an unofficial, fan-made fictional radio drama inspired by the world and events of the Hunger Games series. Good evening, citizens of Panem. This is Capital National Radio, broadcasting live from the heart of the capital. I am Aurelius Vale, and tonight, Panem remembers. Tonight, Panem gathers beneath one banner, one anthem, one history, and one promise. The promise that has guided our nation for 100 years. The promise that peace, once broken, must never again be treated as fragile. The promise that rebellion, once defeated, must never again be allowed to dress itself as courage. 100 years. A full century since the dark days. A full century since the districts were lifted from chaos and returned, by the mercy and strength of the capital, into order. A full century since the first Hunger Games. And now on this historic night, with the lights of the capital burning brighter than I have seen them in my lifetime, with Victory Avenue filled from end to end, with the grand balconies dressed in white and gold, with every district square linked into this broadcast, we begin the centennial celebration of the Games. The 100th Annual Hunger Games. The Fourth Quarter Quell. I want to pause on that for a moment because even here in the broadcast hall, even surrounded by the music and the cameras and the flags, the scale of it is difficult to hold. 100 years is not simply a number. It is a national memory. It is a line drawn from the ashes of rebellion to the peace we enjoy tonight. It is a reminder that Panem was not saved once, but has been preserved every year since. Every reaping, every arena, every victor crowned before the eyes of the nation. Every child chosen not by cruelty, as some of our more sentimental critics have occasionally tried to suggest, but by solemn civic necessity. That is the meaning of tonight. Not spectacle alone, not pageantry alone. Memory. And memory, citizens, must be renewed. I am looking now through the glass of our Capital National Radio studio, down toward the Ceremonial Boulevard, and it is truly an extraordinary sight. The avenue is lined with banners from all 12 districts, each one illuminated from beneath so that the colors seem to rise upward into the night. District 1's silver and rose. District 2's stone white and iron gray. District 4's blue and green. District 11's deep gold. District 12's black and coal red, subdued but striking beneath the Capitol lights. At the center of the avenue, the Centennial flame has been lit. For those listening from the districts, I'll describe it as clearly as I can. The flame stands in a bronze basin nearly 3 stories high, surrounded by 100 smaller lamps, each one representing a year of the Games. As each lamp was lit earlier this evening, the Capitol Children's Choir sang the anthem of unity, and the crowd, I am told more than 200,000 citizens are gathered in the ceremonial district alone, stood in complete silence. A remarkable moment. Truly remarkable. And I know many of you in the districts are gathered in your own squares tonight. We are receiving images from District 2's Central Quarry Plaza, District 5's Power Court, District 6's Rail Concourse, District 7's Timber Hall, and many others. The official attendance figures will be released later, but early Capitol estimates suggest this may be the most widely viewed Games broadcast in Panem's history. That is fitting. The 100th Games belong to all of Panem. Every district, every family, every generation. Now, before the formal Quell announcement, we are expecting several ceremonial addresses from the Capitol. The President will speak later this evening from the Hall of Peace. The head game maker will then unveil the Centennial Arena in its full form, although, of course, many of its internal mechanisms will remain undisclosed until the Games begin. And following that, the Quarter Quell card will be read publicly for the first time. As always, the Quarter Quell card was written at the founding of the games and sealed to be opened only on the appropriate anniversary. The Capitol does not invent the Quell in the moment. It receives it from history. That distinction matters. Each Quell is not merely a twist in the games, but a lesson preserved from the first generation after the war. The 25th reminded the districts that rebellion required participation. The 50th reminded the districts that death multiplies when order fails. The 75th reminded the districts that even victory does not place any citizen above the peace of Panem. And tonight, the Fourth Quarter Quell will reveal the lesson of the 100th. There has been, as you can imagine, extraordinary speculation. Capital analysts have spent weeks discussing possibilities. Some have suggested a larger arena, some an expanded tribute pool, some a historical arena built from famous locations of the Dark Days. Others have proposed a victor-focused quell, a family quell, an industry quell, or a public merit selection process. Officially, of course, none of us know. Not yet. And I will say, I have covered the games for many years, and I do not remember anticipation like this. The Capitol has a special electricity tonight. It is not just excitement, it is reverence. Even the usual laughter and color feel, somehow, more formal. People understand they are standing inside history. We are going now to the ceremonial plaza, where former victors from across Panem are being introduced. You may hear the crowd beneath me. There they are. The first procession has begun. The victors are entering by decade, beginning with those from the earliest surviving games records. Many of the first victors, of course, are no longer with us. Their portraits are being carried by Capitol Honor attendants in white. The names are being read aloud one by one. Some names you know from school lessons, some from archive reels, some from family memory, some, perhaps, from the quieter conversations that happen in district homes when the official broadcast ends. But tonight, all of them return to the same road. That is one of the gifts of the games. They make memory visible. I see Brutus Lair of District 2 standing near the front of the Living Victors section. Mags of District 4, represented by a blue silk banner and sea glass wreath. Several later victors from 1 and 2 are receiving enormous applause from the Capitol crowd. District 11's surviving victor from the 83rd Games has just been shown on the main screen. The crowd response is more restrained there, but respectful. And now, yes, the 96th victor, Sarah Venn of District 5, is being introduced. She is one of the youngest living victors, still only 20. She looks composed. White gown, gold collar, the official Centennial pin over her heart. The camera is staying with her for a moment. She is not smiling. That is not unusual. The ceremonies can be overwhelming. The victors will be seated in the first tier below the presidential balcony, where they will observe the Quell announcement. I want to acknowledge, too, that for many families in the districts, this ceremony is complex. The Capitol honors victors as symbols of survival and unity. In the districts, the memory is often more personal. A neighbor, a cousin, a child who left and returned changed. A name that brings pride and grief at once. The Capitol understands that. The Capitol has always understood that peace carries weight. It is why the games endure. Not because they are easy to watch. Because forgetting would be easier. And Panem can't afford easy forgetting. We are now seeing the first of the district tribute escort teams assembling below the platform. The actual reaping process will not begin tonight. The Quell announcement comes first, then each district will receive its instructions. Depending on the terms of the quell, we may see a standard reaping schedule tomorrow, or a modified process over the next several days. Again, we do not know yet. The president is expected shortly. While we wait, Capital National Radio has been granted access to some of the Centennial archival material prepared for tonight's broadcast. I want to read a passage from the Founding Games Charter, because it is often quoted in fragments, but rarely heard in full. The games shall stand as a yearly remembrance that war is not an event, but a choice, repeated by citizens who abandon peace. Let the cost of that choice be made visible. Let the young bear witness that the old may remember what they taught. Let the districts look upon the arena and know that unity is not requested. It is preserved. That language is old, citizens, harder than ours, less decorated, but it contains the essential truth of Panem. Unity is preserved, it does not preserve itself, and now we are receiving word that the president has entered the Hall of Peace. The plaza is standing. You may hear the anthem beginning beneath me. The president is approaching the central podium now. The centennial flame behind him is visible through the upper arch. The quell envelope has been placed in its ceremonial case beside him, sealed in black glass and gold wire. The crowd is completely still. I will summarize the address as it proceeds. The president begins by welcoming the citizens of Panem to the centennial remembrance. He speaks of the capital's mercy after the dark days. He speaks of the district's duty. He speaks of 100 years of peace, prosperity, production, and national continuity. He is emphasizing that Panem has survived not by accident, but by discipline. He is now naming the industries of each district: luxury, masonry, technology, fishing, power, transportation, lumber, textiles, grain, livestock, agriculture, mining, each district named as part of the body of Panem, each one necessary, each one protected by order. The crowd is applauding. He says, a century ago the districts asked what they owed the capital. Tonight we answer again, not tribute for punishment, but tribute for peace. That line is receiving a very strong response in the plaza. He continues, he says the Fourth Quarter Quell will be the most solemn and complete remembrance in the history of the games. He says it will not merely recall the rebellion, but expose the inheritance of rebellion. That is an interesting phrase. The inheritance of rebellion. The president is now turning toward the Quell case. The hall has gone quiet. The case is being opened. The envelope is being removed. Black paper, gold seal. The president is holding it now. For listeners in the districts, I want to make clear what we are seeing. The Quarter Quell card is not large. It is perhaps the size of a standard announcement sheet. The tradition, of course, is that the president reads it without prior public disclosure. Only the sealed office has verified the contents. He has broken the seal. He is unfolding the card. The Fourth Quarter Quell is about to be announced. He begins, on this, the 100th anniversary of the Hunger Games, let it be remembered that rebellion is not born from one generation alone. The crowd is silent. It is taught, inherited, sheltered, repeated, and protected by those who forget the mercy of peace. He continues, therefore, for the Fourth Quarter Quell, each district shall offer not 2 tributes, but 4. There is a sound moving through the plaza now, not exactly applause yet, more like a wave of breath. The president continues, 1 boy and 1 girl shall be drawn by lot from the children of each district, as tradition commands. A pause. And 1 adult man and 1 adult woman shall be selected by the voice of the district itself, from among its citizens of age. The crowd is reacting now. It is applause, yes, but mixed with surprise. Very strong surprise in the hall. The president continues reading. Let every district remember that rebellion does not live only in youth, nor is peace the burden of the capital alone. Let the people choose from among themselves those who shall stand beside their children in the arena. Let Panem witness that every generation bears responsibility for the order it inherits. The president lowers the card. The Fourth Quarter Quell has been revealed. Each district will send 4 tributes. 1 boy by lot, 1 girl by lot, 1 adult man selected by district vote, 1 adult woman selected by district vote. 48 tributes. I'm going to repeat that for clarity. The 100th Annual Hunger Games, the Fourth Quarter Quell, will include 48 tributes. 2 children from each district selected by traditional reaping, and 2 adults selected by public district vote. The crowd in the Capitol is now fully standing. The applause is enormous. There are banners being released above Victory Avenue, gold and white streamers. The Centennial Flame has brightened. The central screens are displaying the words, "Every generation keeps the peace. Every generation keeps the peace." That appears to be the official Quell motto. I will say this is certainly one of the most significant Quell announcements in the history of the games. The expansion to 48 tributes alone would make it historic. The inclusion of adult tributes chosen by district vote is politically and emotionally quite extraordinary. Capitol commentators around me are using the phrase district participation. That will likely be the official framing. District participation in the preservation of peace. The president is still at the podium. He is now explaining that the adult tribute vote will begin tomorrow morning in each district under Capitol supervision. All citizens aged 19 through 45 will be eligible for selection unless exempted by Capitol medical or labor classification. Former victors are, according to the president, exempt as property of the game's legacy. Peacekeepers are exempt. Capitol officials assigned to district administration are exempt. Essential production supervisors may be exempted by petition. The voting process will occur in public assembly spaces. Each eligible district citizen will cast 1 ballot for the adult male tribute and 1 ballot for the adult female tribute. The 2 citizens receiving the highest certified vote totals will be named adult tributes. This is remarkable. It means each district will participate directly in the selection of 2 of its 4 tributes. The president is calling it a solemn act of shared responsibility. He says, the Capitol does not ask the districts to suffer blindly. The Capitol asks the districts to remember that disorder is not born in one house, one family, or one age. If the districts desire peace, let the districts name those among them who best understand the price of preserving it. That line is being received powerfully here, in the Capitol at least. We are watching district feeds now. District 1's square is illuminated in white. The crowd appears still, but orderly. District 2 is standing at attention. District 4 appears quiet. District 7. I am seeing some movement in the rear of the square, but nothing official yet. District 11's feed is wide, showing the grain square and several peacekeeper lines along the perimeter. District 12's feed is darker. The crowd there appears very still. It is always difficult to read district reaction from official wide cameras. Silence can be reverence. Silence can be shock. Often in Panem, it is both. The president has concluded the announcement. The anthem is beginning again. The Capitol crowd is singing. I can hear the voices through the glass. The words are echoing across the plaza. One Panem, one peace, one memory, one future. Citizens, the Fourth Quarter Quell has begun. Not the arena, not yet, but the Quell process. And tonight's announcement changes every district in Panem before a single tribute steps onto a train. I want to take a moment here because there is a lot to process. For 100 years, the games have drawn children by lot. The reaping is impartial. Terrible, yes, but impartial. A bowl, a name, a hand. The capital's law moving through chance. This quell adds something different. Choice. District choice. Now, I know the official capital language will emphasize participation, responsibility, unity. Those are important concepts. But we should be honest about the emotional reality. Tomorrow morning, citizens in every district will be asked to write down the names of adults they know, neighbors, workers, relatives, rivals, friends, people who may have protected them, fed them, angered them, competed with them, led them, disappointed them, or loved them. Those names will go into account. 2 adults from each district will be selected not by chance, but by the visible will of the district. That is a profound civic burden. The capital will call it trust. Some in the districts may experience it as something heavier. We are now receiving initial legal clarification from the Quell office. Eligible adults include citizens aged 19 to 45. Citizens already in capital custody are eligible unless under active sentence of labor reassignment. That is interesting. Citizens under medical restriction may be exempted. Parents are not exempt. Spouses are not exempt. Only 1 adult may be selected from the same household unless the district population count requires otherwise. Ballots will be mandatory. Failure to participate may result in ration penalties or civic discipline. The vote will be certified by capital observers and district administrators. So this is not optional. Every eligible voter must participate. The districts must choose. We are already seeing increased peacekeeper movement in several district squares. This may be standard crowd control following the announcement. It may also reflect the immediate logistical challenge of conducting a vote of this kind tomorrow. District officials will need eligibility rolls, ballot stations, certification systems, public assembly enforcement, security, and, of course, reaping stages for the child tributes. This will be the largest single reaping process in the history of Panem. 48 tributes. The capital production teams have prepared for a larger arena, clearly. They would have known the quell might require expanded capacity, though perhaps not the exact selection method. The Centennial Arena must be built to accommodate nearly twice the standard tribute count. We are expecting the head game maker's remarks within the hour. But before that, Capital National Radio has received permission to carry the official Quell response package. This includes district instructions, voting procedures, and a first look at the commemorative tribute parade route. I am being told now that there is some unrest in District 7. We do not have confirmation yet. The official feed from District 7 has cut to a static wide shot of the Timber Hall exterior. That may be routine. We are checking. District 11's square remains full, peacekeepers visible. The crowd appears quiet, but there is some movement near the eastern side. District 8's feed shows citizens being directed away from the central platform. Again, no confirmation of disturbance. We should be careful here. Large crowds react, people faint, people move, families cry out. A Quell announcement of this magnitude will create emotional responses. Not all movement is unrest. Still, the Capitol Communications Desk has issued a reminder to district broadcast teams to maintain stable wide shots and avoid close crowd audio unless authorized. That is standard during sensitive announcements. I want to emphasize that. Standard. Now, while we wait for more information, let me read the adult vote instructions as issued to district administrators. All eligible citizens shall assemble at designated civic squares at first bell. Ballots shall be distributed by household registry. Each eligible voter shall mark one adult male candidate and one adult female candidate. Ballots may not be blank. Ballots may not be destroyed. Ballots may not be transferred. Votes shall be counted publicly under capital supervision. The highest certified totals shall determine the adult tributes. Any attempt to obstruct the vote shall be treated as interference with the peace process. Ballots may not be blank. That is going to matter. There had been speculation that some districts might attempt symbolic abstention. The Quell office has already closed that possibility. Every ballot must name someone. Again, citizens, the central message of this Quell is shared responsibility. That is the capital framing, but operationally, this means every district citizen must participate in choosing 2 people to send into the arena. A difficult responsibility, a solemn one, and yes, a painful one. Capital analysts are now discussing possible strategic voting. Some districts may choose older adults perceived as less physically competitive, perhaps as an act of mercy toward younger workers. Others may choose known criminals, unpopular officials, rivals, or individuals viewed as politically dangerous. There is already speculation that district leadership could attempt to influence outcomes to remove dissidents under the cover of public vote. I want to be very clear. The Quell office has not suggested that, but analysts are raising it because any vote under pressure creates incentives, and this vote carries a death sentence. The capital will supervise, but the districts will choose. That is the point. We are now receiving confirmation that District 7's feed was interrupted by a disturbance in the rear of the square. Capital sources describe it as brief disorder. No official injuries reported. The district broadcast has resumed. The crowd is visible again. Peacekeeper lines have moved forward. Several citizens appear to have been removed from the square. Again, brief disorder. That is the official description. District 8 is reporting a procedural delay in clearing the textile assembly hall. District 11 remains under crowd control supervision. District 3 has issued a district-level instruction, ordering all communications technicians to remain at assigned posts overnight in preparation for tomorrow's vote. That is unusual, but understandable. The vote requires secure counting systems. District 3 will be critical. We are now seeing Capitol commentators returning to the grandeur of the Centennial Games. The official screens are showing concept images of the tribute parade. 48 chariots will not be used. Instead, each district will present its 4 tributes on a single expanded platform, symbolizing generational unity. 2 children at the front, 2 adults behind them. Industry costumes are expected to emphasize continuity between youth and labor. That imagery will be powerful. A child and an adult from the same district standing under the same emblem. The capital loves symmetry. This Quell is full of it. 2 by chance. 2 by choice. Youth and adulthood. Inheritance and responsibility. District and capital. Peace and punishment. 100 years. The official phrase again. Every generation keeps the peace. I suspect we will hear that often. We are now going to the head game maker's address. The head game maker is standing before a scale model covered in black silk. He begins by praising the president's announcement and calling the Fourth Quarter Quell a games not merely of survival, but of national reflection. He says the Centennial Arena will honor the full body of Panem. The silk is being removed. We are seeing the model now. Citizens, it is extraordinary. The arena appears to be circular, arranged in 12 outer sectors with a central capital structure. Each sector seems to represent one district. The model is stylized, of course, but we can identify major features. A quarry sector for District 2. A grid of towers, wires, and relay structures for District 3. Water channels and docks for District 4. Industrial power architecture for District 5. Rail lines for District 6. Forest and timber works for District 7. Textile mills for District 8. Grain storage and threshing floors for District 9. Dry stockyards for District 10. Fields, orchards, and watchtowers for District 11. And coal tunnels for District 12. At the center, a miniature Capitol Plaza. White marble, gold towers, fountains, screens, a ceremonial avenue. The head game maker calls it the Centennial Arena. He says, for 100 years, the games have reminded Panem that rebellion begins when citizens forget their place within the whole. This year, the arena itself shall be the whole. Every district, every industry, every path of labor and tribute reflected in one living map. One living map. That is powerful language. The arena is Panem, or rather Panem as the Capitol understands it. Each district reduced to its work, its danger, its symbol, and its place around the center. The head game maker is emphasizing that no tribute will begin in their own district sector. That is important. The tributes will not be placed among familiar terrain. A District 4 tribute may begin in the mines. A District 12 tribute may begin among docks. A District 7 tribute may begin in the Capitol Center's outer ring. The arena will force dislocation. He says the central capital zone is not the cornucopia in the traditional sense. Instead, supplies are distributed throughout the district sectors, with the richest sponsor interfaces and weapons caches located near the central plaza. So the Capitol Center will draw tributes inward. That is by design. The games will become a movement toward the Capitol, a symbolic movement, certainly, and a dangerous one. The head game maker says the arena will include historic echoes, interactive Capitol broadcasts, district-specific hazards, and centennial memory projections. We do not yet know what that means, but the model shows screens throughout the arena. Many screens. More than usual, this will be the most heavily broadcast games ever built. Every sector appears wired for sound. Every tribute will be more visible than in past years. That makes sense for a centennial. The Capitol wants every moment captured, every lesson preserved. The head game maker says, the Centennial Arena will not allow Panem to look away from itself. That line gets enormous applause from the Capitol crowd. The Centennial Arena will not allow Panem to look away from itself. A beautiful line. A dangerous one, perhaps, depending on what the arena shows. The address concludes with the official timeline. Tonight, Quell announcement. Tomorrow, adult tribute votes and child reapings in all 12 districts. Following day, tribute arrival and presentation. Then training, interviews, and ceremonial review. The games will begin at dawn on the 5th day after the announcement. This gives the district several days under the new reality before the arena begins. That may be intentional. The Capitol wants the vote to echo. It wants the districts to live with what they have done before the tributes even arrive here. We are returning now to district feeds. District 7 is stable but heavily guarded. District 8's feed has resumed from the textile hall. Citizens appear to be leaving under peacekeeper direction. District 11 has not dispersed. The crowd remains gathered. That is unusual. Officials may be preparing to clear the square. District 12's square remains quiet. The camera is wide. Very little movement. District 3's feed is showing administrative teams installing additional ballot equipment already. Efficient as expected. District 4's Harbor Square is candlelit. The crowd is still. There appears to be chanting, but the audio is low. We can't identify the words. Now, I'm being told Capitol producers are asking district audio teams to maintain official anthem beds beneath live shots. That is standard to avoid unauthorized crowd audio during emotional moments. Again, standard. But tonight, the difference between silence and muted sound is going to matter. I can feel that already. We have received our first official district statement from District 2. It praises the Quell announcement and says, District 2 will meet the Centennial Games with honor, discipline, and gratitude for the Capitol's continued trust. That is unsurprising. District 2 has historically embraced the game structure more openly than many districts. District 1 has issued a similar statement calling the 4 tribute format a magnificent tribute to Panem's shared legacy. District 5's statement is more restrained. It says the district will comply fully with Quell procedures and prepare eligible voter rolls. District 12 has not issued a statement. District 11 has not issued a statement. District 7 has not issued a statement. We will monitor. A listener, or rather a citizen message through the official Capitol channel, asks whether adult tributes will receive the same training as child tributes. Yes, all tributes will receive standard pre-games processing, styling, training access, evaluation, interviews, and sponsorship eligibility. Adults will compete under the same arena rules. There will be no age-based protections once the games begin. Another asks whether adults with children can be exempt. No general exemption has been announced. Another asks whether district votes can select volunteers. The Quell office has not yet clarified whether adult citizens may volunteer in place of a selected adult tribute. For child tributes, standard volunteer rules remain, though the Capitol reserves the right to modify procedures under Quell authority. That may become important. Could an adult volunteer to spare someone voted in? We do not know yet. If allowed, that would create another layer of public pressure. If not allowed, the vote becomes absolute. We are waiting for clarification. The Capitol crowd is beginning to move from the Hall of Peace toward the first Centennial Banquet events. You may hear music beneath the broadcast. The mood here remains celebratory. People are already discussing possible district strategies, likely adult candidates, arena advantages, and sponsor markets. The Capitol betting houses, which operate under strict regulation, have suspended early odds until district votes are complete. That is expected. With 48 tributes and unknown adult selections, the field is too uncertain. Capitol stylists are reportedly thrilled by the 4 tribute format. It allows each district to present a generational tableau. Youth, labor, heritage, and industry in one image. The tribute parade will likely be one of the most elaborate in history. Again, the Capitol sees the image. The districts tomorrow will face the names. That difference is always present in the games. Tonight, it feels sharper. We are now receiving word from District 11 that the crowd in the Grain Square has refused the first dispersal order. Peacekeepers have moved into formation. The official district feed has cut to the district seal. We do not have visual confirmation. The Capitol Communications Desk describes it as crowd hesitation. Crowd hesitation. I will use their phrase. District 11 has experienced heightened emotion during past reapings, particularly when larger tribute burdens have been announced. The district's population is large, its labor structure is highly communal. Adult voting there may carry enormous social weight. We will wait for confirmation before saying more. District 7's earlier disorder is now being described as ballot-related protest, which is interesting because ballots have not yet been distributed. It may mean citizens objected to tomorrow's vote. Several arrests reported. No injuries confirmed. District 8's procedural delay reportedly involved workers refusing to leave the textile hall until eligibility exemptions were clarified. Peacekeepers cleared the hall without reported serious injury. The Quell has not yet reaped a single tribute, and already the districts are reacting. Aurelius, I'm speaking to you as plainly as I can while remaining within the facts. This is going to be a difficult week for Panem. The capital's official language is unity. The visual language is celebration. The historic language is remembrance. But the practical reality is that tomorrow districts will be required to choose adults for death in a public vote. That is unprecedented, and unprecedented things create pressure. Pressure seeks release. The capital will try to control that release through ceremony, but ceremony is not the same as consent. I should clarify something. That last phrase is not a criticism of the capital. It is a broadcast observation. Ceremony is structure. Consent is emotion. The capital can structure the vote. It can't determine moment by moment how every citizen will feel while casting it. That is why peacekeepers are present. Not because the capital expects disorder everywhere, because the capital understands human grief. And grief in crowds must be managed. We are nearing the end of this first Centennial broadcast hour. We will remain live through the night as district instructions continue and official statements arrive. Before we close this segment, let me return to the essential facts. The Fourth Quarter Quell has been announced. Each district will send 4 tributes. 1 boy by lottery, 1 girl by lottery, 1 adult man by district vote, 1 adult woman by district vote. 48 tributes will enter the Centennial Arena. The arena is a symbolic map of Panem, with 12 district sectors surrounding a capital center. The official Quell motto is, "Every generation keeps the peace." Adult voting begins tomorrow at first bell under capital supervision. Ballots are mandatory. Blank ballots are prohibited. Obstruction will be treated as interference with the peace process. Those are the facts as issued tonight. The meaning of those facts will be felt tomorrow, in the squares, in the homes, in the voting lines, in the silence before names are written. The capital is celebrating tonight as it has every right to do on this centennial occasion. Victory Avenue is bright. The anthem continues. The Quell card has been read. The arena has been revealed. Panem has witnessed history. But as I look now across the district feeds, I see something else beside the pageantry. I see squares that do not move. I see faces too far from the camera to read. I see peacekeepers where banners were. I see citizens standing beneath screens, listening to the capital explain that tomorrow they will choose. And I want to be careful here, because a broadcaster's role is not to feel on behalf of Panem. It is to describe what Panem is seeing, and what Panem is seeing tonight is this. For 100 years, the reaping came from a bowl. Tomorrow, 2 names in every district will come from the hands of neighbors. That is the Fourth Quarter Quell. That is the lesson the capital has chosen to preserve from history. Not only that children may be taken, but that adults may be named. Not only that chance may punish, but that a district may be made to speak its own punishment aloud. The capital crowd is still applauding as the centennial flame burns over the Hall of Peace. In District 11, the official feed remains on the seal. In District 7, the square is clearing under peacekeeper line. In District 12, no one has moved. This is Aurelius Vale. Capital National Radio will remain with you throughout the night. The Centennial celebration has begun. The Fourth Quarter Quell has begun, and tomorrow, Panem votes. We are continuing our live Centennial coverage following tonight's historic announcement of the Fourth Quarter Quell. For those just joining us, the Quell card has been opened. The President has read the terms. The 100th Annual Hunger Games will include 48 tributes, 4 from each district. 1 boy and 1 girl will be drawn by traditional reaping. 1 adult man and 1 adult woman will be selected by public district vote. The official motto of the Fourth Quarter Quell has been confirmed. Every generation keeps the peace. That motto is now being displayed across the Capitol, across district square screens, across the ceremonial route, and across the front of the Hall of Peace. We are also hearing it sung by several youth choirs along Victory Avenue, where the Centennial procession continues despite the late hour. In the Capitol, the response remains extraordinary. The city is alive tonight in a way I have rarely seen. Every balcony is lit. Every avenue is lined with white banners. The fountains along the central promenade have been dyed gold. Air trams are circling the upper plazas with the insignia of the games projected beneath them. The Centennial flame remains visible from nearly every major boulevard, and citizens are still gathered in large numbers outside the Hall of Peace. There is a feeling here that Panem has crossed into history, not approaching it, not commemorating it from a distance, inside it. And yet, while the Capitol celebrates, the districts are preparing for something very different. Tomorrow at first bell, each district will assemble in its primary civic square for the adult tribute vote. The child reapings will follow under standard procedure, though the exact order may vary by district. The Quell office has now clarified several points that were uncertain during our last segment. Adult volunteers will not be permitted. I'll repeat that. Adult volunteers will not be permitted in place of tributes selected by district vote. The Quell office states that because the adult tribute selection is intended to reflect the voice and responsibility of the district, substitution would compromise the purpose of the Quell. That means if a district selects an adult citizen, that citizen must serve. No spouse may volunteer, no sibling, no neighbor, no political ally, no person attempting to spare another. The vote is binding. That clarification has already changed the atmosphere in several district broadcasts. You can see it, even through the official wide shots. District 5's Power Court, which had been relatively still after the announcement, is now active again. Citizens are moving in small groups. Peacekeepers have opened additional lanes near the registry stations. District 9's Grain Square has received additional guards. District 8 has issued a work suspension order for the morning so all eligible citizens can attend the vote. District 12 has not yet released a public statement. But the feed remains on the square, and the crowd is still there. Still. That is the word. Not disorderly. Not celebratory. Still. In the Capitol, analysts are calling tomorrow's vote a solemn democratic mechanism. They are emphasizing the dignity of participation, the shared burden of peace, the wisdom of allowing districts to identify adults who embody their civic responsibility. That is the official analysis. But if you will allow me a little plainness here, there is another way to describe what tomorrow asks. Every eligible citizen must write down a name, and everyone will know that the name is not symbolic. The name will go to the arena. There will be no hiding behind chance for those 2 tributes. No saying the bowl took them. No saying the hand of fate moved. Tomorrow, 2 adults in every district will stand on a stage because their own district named them. That is the lesson. And lessons, when properly designed, are not always comfortable. We are now receiving further reports from District 7. The official capital description remains brief disorder, but our district liaison has confirmed that several ballots used in an instructional demonstration were destroyed by citizens in the square. These were not active ballots for tomorrow's vote. They were demonstration slips distributed by district administrators to show citizens how to mark names properly. A small group reportedly tore them and threw them toward the stage. Peacekeepers intervened. 12 arrests confirmed. No deaths reported. No serious injuries reported. The district feed has returned to a wide shot of the square. The crowd is dispersing under order. District 7 has a long history of difficult reaping atmospheres. Its citizens are practical, stubborn, and deeply attached to local kinship structures. The idea of naming an adult publicly may strike there with particular force. That is not an excuse for disorder, it is context. We are also receiving a report from District 11. The feed remains restricted, but Capitol Communications confirms that a dispersal order was issued after the Grain Square refused to clear. There are unconfirmed reports of chanting. We do not have the words. We are not going to speculate. The official statement from District 11 administration says, citizens are reminded that participation in the Fourth Quarter Quell adult tribute vote is mandatory. The district will comply fully with capital law. Any interference with the vote, the reaping, or public order will be handled according to peace enforcement protocol. That is the statement. Peace enforcement protocol. That phrase means peacekeepers have authority to use escalating measures if civic order does not resume. We hope that will not be necessary. The Capitol has made clear that tomorrow's vote is part of the quell. Interfering with it is not treated as ordinary protest. It is interference with the games. And interference with the games has always carried the highest consequences. We are now going to spend a few minutes reviewing the adult voting process because many citizens in the districts are asking practical questions through authorized channels. The vote begins at first bell. Eligible citizens aged 19 through 45 must attend unless medically exempted or serving in a capital-approved essential function. Household registries will be used to distribute ballots. Identification will be verified by district records. Ballots will be marked in view of Capitol election officers, folded and deposited into sealed civic containers. Ballots can't be left blank. Ballots can't contain the voter's own name unless that citizen wishes to vote for themselves. That is allowed, though Capitol analysts do not expect it to be common. Ballots naming ineligible citizens will be voided and may trigger review. Attempts to coordinate mass invalid voting will be considered obstruction. Votes will be counted publicly by district administrators under Capitol supervision. Capitol observers will certify the totals. The adult man and adult woman with the highest certified totals become tributes. Ties will be resolved by immediate lot drawing among tied names. The selected adults will then join the two child tributes drawn in the reaping ceremony. All four will be placed under escort. All four will depart by train. That is the process. Very clear, very efficient. And by tomorrow evening, every district in Panem will know the names of its 4 Centennial tributes. We are now receiving our first citizen reaction package from Capitol Television. It includes interviews from citizens along Victory Avenue. The mood is proud, emotional. Many citizens are saying this. Quell finally recognizes the full responsibility of the districts. One woman tells Capitol Television, "The children never rebel alone. Adults teach them what to hate." Another says, "If the districts want peace, let them choose peace with their own hands." That sentiment is strong here. The Capitol sees the adult vote as moral correction, not punishment only. correction. For years, some Capitol voices have argued that the standard games place too much symbolic weight on youth, and not enough on the generational structures that produce rebellion. The Fourth Quarter Quell answers that argument directly. It says rebellion is inherited, therefore responsibility must be inherited too. Now, in the districts, that may be received differently. We should acknowledge that. But the Quell is not designed to comfort the districts. It is designed to instruct them. And instruction often begins where comfort ends. We have a new development from District 3. District 3 administration has ordered all independent communications workshops closed until after the adult vote. Capitol engineers will supervise district counting systems directly. Several technicians have reportedly been detained for questioning after unauthorized messages appeared on local work terminals. We do not know what those messages said. The official statement says only that unapproved language concerning the Quell process was discovered in several systems. The district remains compliant. No production impact reported. District 3 is always sensitive during broadcast-heavy games. Its citizens understand signal systems, counting systems, screens. They know how messages move. During any Quell involving public voting, that knowledge becomes especially important. The Capitol will not allow the vote to be altered by local technical interference. That is the reason for the closure. We are also seeing reports from District 8 that workers in one textile complex refused to continue producing commemorative tribute fabrics after the Quell announcement. The factory floor was cleared. No serious injuries reported. Production has resumed under supervision. District 8 is expected to supply several components of the tribute presentation costumes this year. The timing is unfortunate. But the Capitol has replacement capacity. The parade will proceed. It always does. Let's return for a moment to the Capitol itself. The Centennial Banquet is beginning in the upper reception halls. Former victors are being seated by district. Capitol sponsors are present in record numbers. The head game maker's scale model of the Centennial Arena has been moved to a rotating display chamber, where invited guests can observe it before it is sealed again. Several analysts have already noted how unusual the arena design is. Past arenas often created self-contained worlds, forests, deserts, ruins, islands, tundra, urban mazes. This one is explicitly symbolic. It does not hide its meaning. It arranges Panem into a circle and places the Capitol at the center. The district zones are not exact replicas. They are distilled, sharpened, made dangerous. The District 12 sector is not simply coal country. It is coal as memory. Tunnels, black dust, choking shafts, warning bells, narrow rails, unstable supports. The District 4 sector is not simply coast. It is water as threat, rising locks, salt channels, hidden currents, wet platforms, docks that flood and empty without warning. The District 3 sector is not simply technology. It is signal made dangerous. Towers, exposed current, surveillance arrays, doors that open only when circuits are solved. The District 11 sector is not simply agriculture. It is abundance underwatch. Orchards with hidden cameras, grain fields that shift, irrigation channels that can become traps, watchtowers positioned like silent judges. The Capitol Center, meanwhile, is white marble and gold. Too clean, too bright, too visible. That is where the best supplies are rumored to be, though officials have not confirmed. It will pull tributes inward. The arena is designed so that every path eventually faces the Capitol. That is not accidental. Nothing in a Quarter Quell is accidental. We have just received an official Quell office clarification regarding child volunteers. Standard child tribute volunteer rules will remain in effect in districts where volunteer practice is recognized, but Quell Authority allows the capital to reject volunteers if the substitution is judged to undermine district representation. That will likely matter most in Districts 1, 2, and possibly 4, where trained volunteers have historically shaped the games. This quell may complicate career strategy. With 48 tributes, including adults, the usual alliances may not hold. Adult tributes may be physically stronger, more experienced, and more emotionally complicated than child tributes. They may be parents, workers, local leaders, people with grudges, people with skills not usually found in the arena, hunters, mechanics, medics, miners, fishermen, quarry workers, electrical technicians, textile machine operators, rail engineers, farm supervisors. Adult tributes could change the pace of the games dramatically. Children tend to be driven first by fear, then training, then survival. Adults bring memory, and memory can be dangerous in an arena built to symbolize history. I'm being told District 11's feed has resumed. The square is visible again. There are peacekeepers at the front of the stage. The crowd is smaller now. Several sections have been cleared. The anthem is playing over the district loudspeakers. I see citizens standing in rows, heads lowered. No active disorder visible. The district administrator is speaking, but the audio is not being carried on the national feed. We are told the message concerns mandatory attendance tomorrow and penalties for obstruction. District 11's adult vote could be one of the most difficult in Panem. Its population is large, its communities are tightly connected, and its labor hierarchy is broad. Choosing 2 adults publicly in that district may create divisions that last far beyond the games. Of course, perhaps that is part of the Quell's lesson. Peace is not merely the absence of rebellion. It is the ordering of memory, loyalty, and fear. A district divided against disorder is a district less likely to unite against the capital. That is not cynicism. That is political design. The games have always been political design. We are now receiving reports of spontaneous gatherings in District 12. The square has still not fully cleared. Peacekeepers are present, but not advancing. The district population is smaller, so crowd control is different there. The feed shows the reaping stage under cold light. The bowls are not yet present. They will be brought tomorrow. There is something stark about an empty reaping stage after a Quell announcement. You can see the space where names will sit. Before names arrive, the stage already feels occupied. District 12 has historically produced some of the most emotionally charged reapings, due to its poverty, its labor conditions, and its smaller population. Adult voting there may be less a matter of anonymity and more a matter of everyone knowing every name that could be written. In larger districts, a ballot may feel distant. In 12, perhaps not. We will see tomorrow. The Capitol is now airing the first official informational segment explaining how district citizens should approach the vote. The language is calm, instructional, almost soothing. Vote not from anger. Vote not from fear. Vote for the citizen who best represents the generation that must answer for the peace. Your ballot is your tribute to Panem. Your ballot is your tribute to Panem. That line has been repeated 3 times. It will likely be everywhere by morning. A citizen in the capital might hear it as noble. A citizen in a district might hear something else. We are receiving messages through the official Capital Listener channel criticizing the restraint of our language tonight. Some Capital citizens are asking why we are spending so much time discussing district discomfort when the Quell is a national honor. That is a fair question from a Capital perspective. My answer is simple. A national broadcast must describe the whole nation. The capital's joy is real. The district's fear is also real. The games contain both. To pretend otherwise would weaken the seriousness of the quell. The capital does not require us to lie about pain. It requires that pain be given meaning. Tonight the meaning is responsibility. Tomorrow, Panem will test whether that meaning can survive the act of writing names. We are now moving into overnight coverage. Districts are under curfew or extended square order depending on local administration. Voting infrastructure is being prepared. Peacekeeper deployment is increased but controlled. Capital celebrations continue. The Quell office is expected to release final eligibility rolls before dawn. We will remain live. If you are listening in the capital, you may be on your way to one of the Centennial banquets, viewing salons, or civic remembrance events. If you are listening in the districts, you may be standing in a square, or sitting in a home where no one is speaking, or waiting for the first bell with a ballot already forming in your mind. Either way, Panem is awake tonight. The Fourth Quarter Quell has done that before the arena has even opened. It has made sleep feel like avoidance. We are going to move now into the first hours before the district votes. The capital has quieted slightly. Victory Avenue remains full, but the official ceremonies have shifted indoors. The Centennial flame continues to burn. The Quell motto is projected across the side of the Hall of Peace in letters large enough to be seen from the upper transit lines. Every generation keeps the peace. In District 1, the adult candidate speculation has already begun on official social boards. That may sound cold, but District 1 has long treated the games as both burden and opportunity. Several prominent adult citizens have released statements affirming loyalty and willingness to serve if chosen by the district. Since volunteering is prohibited for adult tributes, these statements are not legal substitutes, but they may influence ballots. District 2 has scheduled a pre-vote honor assembly. Citizens will gather by production cohort. Military families, stoneworkers, academy graduates, and civic officials will be seated separately. District 2's administration says this will help citizens vote with discipline and clarity. District 4's Harbor Square remains quiet. Fishing crews have been ordered ashore before dawn. The vote will occur near the central quay, where reapings have traditionally been held. We are hearing reports that several boats attempted to remain offshore after the Quell announcement, and were ordered back. No confirmed arrests. District 7 remains tense after the demonstration ballot incident. District 8 factories will be closed through the vote. District 11 under heavy peacekeeper presence. District 12 still in square watch. Across Panem, the machinery of selection is being built. Tables, boxes, lists, pens, stages, barriers, cameras. The ordinary tools of administration become, under Quell law, instruments of the arena. A ballot table is not so different from a cornucopia if everyone approaching it knows someone will die because of what is taken from it. That may be too poetic. But this is a poetic night. The capital has made it one. We are now at first bell in District 1. Because of time zone alignment and capital scheduling, the votes will begin in staggered broadcast order, though all districts will complete the process today. District 1 is first on the official schedule, followed by 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 3. Last, due to technical oversight requirements, District 1's square is bright, elegant, almost theatrical. Citizens are dressed in white and pale metallic colors. The voting stations are arranged beneath mirrored arches. The child reaping bowls are visible but covered. The district escort is smiling. The crowd appears emotional but composed. The administrator is speaking. He praises the president. He praises the quell. He says District 1 understands the honor of being seen by Panem. Ballots are being distributed. This is the first adult tribute vote in the history of the games. Citizens are marking names. There is no disorder, no hesitation visible from the wide shot. District 1 is voting. I realize as I say that a line has been crossed. Until now, the vote was a future act. Now it is happening. A citizen has written a name, another. The first container is being sealed and moved to the counting table. The process is efficient. The Capitol crowd watching from the broadcast hall is applauding lightly, not loudly. There is a sense of ceremony. The commentators are speaking about civic maturity, discipline, clarity. District 1's vote will likely produce adult tributes who are polished, perhaps even prepared. There are adult citizens in 1 who have trained informally for years, not as official tributes, but as part of the district culture around beauty, performance, and competition. Still, being chosen by neighbors is different from volunteering. Even in 1, I suspect. The count is beginning. We will receive the names when certified. Meanwhile, District 2 is assembling. District 2's square looks almost military. Rows, banners, stone columns, peacekeepers, integrated into the ceremonial formation rather than standing apart from it. The district anthem is being played with drums. Citizens are watching the screens showing District 1's count. Capitol producers are calling this unity in sequence. Each district watching the previous district choose. That creates pressure. No district votes in isolation. Every district knows Panem is watching. The first certified adult tribute of the Fourth Quarter Quell has been announced. District 1 adult male, Cassian Lorne, age 29, gem appraiser and former district combat exhibition champion. The crowd response is strong. Cassian Lorne is stepping onto the stage. He appears composed. He places his hand over his heart. He bows toward the Capitol camera. Adult female. Vela Maris, age 31, luxury textile designer, former pageant combat finalist. She is walking now, calm, elegant. She embraces no one before approaching the stage. Her expression is controlled. District 1 has selected its adult tributes. No disorder, no protest. The Capitol response is very positive. Now the child reaping. The boy tribute, Nilo Var, age 16. The girl tribute, Celine Avar, age 17. Both appear prepared, though perhaps not volunteers. There is some applause in the square. District 1's 4 tributes stand together on the platform. Nilo Var, Celine Avar, Cassian Lorne, Vela Maris. The first Centennial tribute set is complete. A powerful image. 2 youths in pale tribute dress, 2 adults behind them, all under District 1's silver emblem. This is how the Capitol wants the Quell to look. Orderly, beautiful, accepted. We now move to District 2. District 2's administrator is speaking. The language is martial, direct. He says District 2 will not fear an expanded arena. He says every generation in 2 understands service. He says the adult vote is not a burden, but a demonstration of strength. Ballots are distributed. Rows move in sequence. There is almost no visible hesitation. District 2 is voting quickly. I am told the Capitol Ceremonial Hall has broken into applause again. District 2 has always known how to perform loyalty, but performance and belief are not always separate. Sometimes they become the same thing through repetition. The count is underway. We are receiving a small note from District 4 before its vote. The Harbor Square remains quiet, but several families of eligible adults have requested medical exemption review. The district medical office says only pre-certified exemptions will be considered. No new requests accepted at the voting stage. That will likely cause distress in several districts. Eligibility is not negotiable at the moment of selection. District 2, results now. Adult male tribute, Volin Creed, age 38, quarry supervisor, and former peacekeeper auxiliary trainer. Adult female tribute, Mara Sile, age 27, weapons foundry, forewoman. Both step forward with discipline. The child reaping follows. Boy, Tovin Arks, age 15. Girl, Lysa Brandt, age 16. There is a volunteer attempt for the boy. The Quell officer rejects it. The reaping selection stands. That is the first visible complication. The boy, Tovin Arks, looks stunned. The volunteer, an older 17-year-old, is being removed from the stage area by district officials. The crowd reaction is controlled, but tense. District 2 expected standard volunteer practice. Quell Authority has overridden it. That may change how career districts experience this Quell. If the capital can reject volunteers to preserve representation, then even loyal districts cannot fully shape their tribute pool. The Quell is bigger than district tradition. That message will be heard. District 2's tribute set is complete, but the mood is not as clean as District 1's. Now District 4. The harbor square is gray under morning cloud. Fishing nets have been hung behind the stage. The sea is visible beyond the crowd. Peacekeepers line the docks. The voting containers are placed on tables near the water. District 4 has always occupied a complicated place in the games. Skilled tributes, strong performers, but also deep community ties, family networks, and a culture shaped by the sea where crews depend on one another to survive. Asking such a district to vote adults into the arena may have different consequences. The administrator begins. The crowd does not applaud. He repeats the Quell motto, "Every generation keeps the peace." The crowd remains silent. Ballots are distributed. I can see several citizens looking down for a long time before marking names. A woman near the front appears to be crying. The camera cuts away to the district seal, then returns to a wider angle. The count is slower. District 4 is taking longer. We are now receiving reports of murmuring in the square. Not chanting, not disorder, murmuring. The kind that builds when people are being made to do something together while each person feels alone. Voting continues. The Capitol commentators are filling time with analysis of potential District 4 adult advantages in the arena. Swimming, knots, netting, knife work, endurance, weather reading, balance. All true. All strategically relevant. And yet, in the live feed, strategy feels far away. These are people writing names. District 4 results are delayed by a ballot challenge. Capitol observers are reviewing several invalid ballots that appear to have named deceased citizens. That is not allowed. The ballots are void. The count continues. This may be a form of protest, or grief, or both. District 4, adult results now certified. Adult male. Oren Pell, age 42, harbor mechanic. Adult female. Sella Ven, age 34, fishing crew captain. There is an audible reaction when Sella Ven's name is announced. The crowd shifts. Several people raise hands toward her. She stands near the third row. She does not move at first. Peacekeepers approach. She steps forward before they reach her. That will matter to District 4. The difference between being taken and walking. She walks. The child reaping follows. Boy. Finnick Rel, age 14. The square reacts sharply to the age. Girl. Maritides, age 16. No volunteers accepted. District 4's 4 tributes stand together. Oren Pell's face is gray. Sella Ven is looking at the crowd, not the camera. The child boy is crying openly. The girl is holding his hand. The capital feed cuts to the Quell motto. Every generation keeps the peace. We move to District 5. District 5's power cord is bright, industrial, clean. The voting process is efficient, though the crowd appears tense. Electricity towers frame the square. The district administrator emphasizes duty, stability, and the danger of systems failing when citizens refuse their roles. That metaphor is not subtle. District 5 votes. There is little visible disorder. The adult tributes selected are Kellen Rusk, age 36, grid maintenance engineer; Anya Soul, age 28, turbine technician. Child tributes. Boy, Miro Dane, age 15. Girl, Tessa Loom, age 17. District 5's tributes stand under a field of power cables and white light. Analysts note that adult technical skill may be valuable in the District 3 and 5 sectors of the arena. Again, capital analysis returns to strategy. Strategy is easier to discuss than the vote. District 6 is next. The rail concourse is crowded, and the atmosphere is noticeably strained. District 6 has seen hardship in recent years from production quotas and transport accidents. The idea of sending adult workers into an arena built partly around train yards may land heavily here. The administrator speaks. There are interruptions from the crowd. The audio is lowered. The administrator repeats the mandatory voting order. Ballots begin moving. A group near the rear refuses to approach the stations. Peacekeepers form a line. The camera cuts to an overhead view. Capital commentators call it a processing delay. Processing delay. We will use that phrase until confirmed otherwise. The line begins moving again after several minutes. The count proceeds. Adult male, Jarek Voss, age 39, rail switch operator. Adult female, Nemi Hale, age 26, engine yard mechanic. Child tributes. Boy, Corin Vale, age 12. There's a loud reaction in the square. 12, the youngest age eligible. The girl, Leary Moss, age 17. Corin Vale has to be guided to the stage by the escort. The adult female tribute, Nemi Hale, steps down briefly despite officials trying to stop her, and takes his hand. Peacekeepers allow it after a moment. The capital commentators call it a touching sign of district unity. Perhaps. Or perhaps it is simply a grown woman seeing a child. District 6, complete. We are now approaching District 7, where tensions have already been reported. The Timber Hall is surrounded by peacekeepers. Ballot tables are set beneath tall wooden beams. The demonstration ballot incident from last night has clearly shaped security. Citizens are being moved in smaller groups rather than all at once. The process is slower, more controlled. The administrator's voice is firm. He says any obstruction will result in immediate civic discipline. He says the district's honor depends on completing the vote. He says the forest teaches sacrifice. The crowd does not respond. Ballots begin. For several minutes, the process continues without visible incident. Then something happens near the second table. A citizen appears to tear a ballot. Peacekeepers move in. The camera cuts to the seal. We are waiting. The feed returns. The citizen is gone. The table has been reset. Voting resumes. That is how fast disorder disappears from an official feed. One moment, a person, then a seal, then order. District 7 results are delayed. We are told several ballots have been voided for illegible markings, repeated names, or prohibited language. Capital observers are reviewing. The count is certified now. Adult male, Bram Alder, age 44, logging foreman. Adult female, Elira Venn, age 32, sawmill medic. The crowd reaction to Elira Venn is strong. It is not applause. It is sound. Grief, maybe. Anger, recognition. She is known clearly. She walks to the stage slowly. Bram Alder does not look at her. Child tributes. Boy, Neth Rowan, age 15. Girl, Kayla Birch, age 13. 13. Elira Venn reaches toward Kala as the girl steps onto the stage. The escort interrupts, then allows them to stand near each other. District 7's tribute image is not polished. It is powerful, but not in the way the Capitol intended. We move to District 8. The textile hall is packed. Factory banners hang behind the stage. Peacekeepers line the aisles. The district has already seen work stoppage behavior, so the administration is moving quickly. The administrator calls the vote a weave of duty. Capitol writers likely prepared that line. The crowd does not respond. Voting begins. There is a visible slowdown at the ballot tables. Workers appear to be speaking to each other despite instructions. Peacekeepers separate groups. The camera cuts between wide angles to avoid showing faces too closely. District 8 is dangerous in moments like this because labor is dense. People know how to coordinate. Textile work trains rhythm, timing, communication across noise. Those skills are not political by default, but under pressure, any shared rhythm can become one. The count begins. We are receiving a report of forced recount at one table due to ballot irregularity. The Quell office confirms several ballots listed the same factory supervisor with identical handwriting. That suggests coordinated marking, perhaps by pressure, perhaps by protest, perhaps by genuine agreement. Capitol observers have voided the affected ballots. The count continues. Adult male, Tavis Rook, age 33, loom mechanic. Adult female, Syrah Pell, age 41, factory floor organizer. There's a visible reaction to Syrah Pell. The phrase floor organizer is official labor language. It can mean production coordinator. It can also mean someone workers trust. The Capitol will note that. Child tributes. Boy, Iman Thread, age 16. Girl, Laya Cross, age 14. District 8's 4 tributes stand under hanging fabric banners. The fabric behind them ripples in the ventilation system. It looks almost like breathing. District 9 follows. The grain district's reaping square is broad and exposed. Silos in the background, dust in the air. The vote proceeds under heavy sun. There is less visible unrest, but the silence is hard. Adult male Hollis Grain, age 45, threshing floor supervisor. Adult female Marivaline, age 37, seed storage clerk. Child tributes. Boy, Den Rusk, age 13. Girl, Olna Fields, age 16. The Capitol commentators spend little time on 9. They rarely do. Grain is essential, but not glamorous. Its tributes are often underestimated. That may be a mistake in an arena with grain silos, dust hazards, and machinery sectors. District 10. Dry heat, fences, stockyard gates. The crowd is spread wider than other districts. The vote is orderly but slow. Several citizens require escort to the ballot table. Adult male, Garen Pike, age 40. Adult female, Letha Marr, age 31. Child tributes. Boy, Sen Vale, age 14. Girl, Rilla Stain, age 17. District 10 complete. Now, District 11. This is the one many officials have been watching most closely. The grain square is full again, despite last night's dispersal order. Peacekeeper presence is heavy. Watchtowers visible. The stage is high. Almost too high. The district administrator stands beneath the emblem while rows of citizens wait. The anthem plays longer here than in other districts, perhaps to settle the crowd, perhaps to remind it. The administrator begins. He speaks of duty. He speaks of production. He speaks of the Capitol's mercy. The crowd is silent, not quiet. silent. There is a difference. Ballots are distributed. The first line moves, then the second, then the third. At the fourth line, movement stops. We are being told there is a delay. The official feed cuts to a wide overhead view. Peacekeepers are moving along the left side of the square. The administrator is still at the podium, but not speaking. Now the audio has been lowered. The Capitol commentators call this a crowd management pause. We will wait. District 11 has resumed voting. The delay lasted approximately 8 minutes. No official injuries. No official arrests yet. But the mood is extremely tense. I can see citizens approaching the ballot table one at a time, heads lowered. The camera is far enough away that we cannot see the names being written. Of course we cannot. Ballots are private in form, if not in consequence. The count begins. This may take time. District 11's population is large, and the vote volume is high. We are receiving reports of ballots naming district officials. Some may be invalid if those officials are exempt. Others may count if not exempt. Capitol observers are reviewing. The crowd is growing louder. The anthem bed has been raised. That means the broadcast does not want us to hear the square. District 11, adult male result certified. Tamar Reed, age 43, orchard supervisor. The crowd reaction is loud. Adult female result, Mina Soul, age 35, field medic. The square erupts. The feed cuts to the district seal. We do not have visual. The official statement says there is heightened emotional response. We are waiting. The seal remains. No live image. The child reaping has not yet occurred. This is a serious delay. Capitol Communications is saying peacekeepers are restoring order. We do not know if Tamar Reed or Mina Soul have reached the stage. We do not know if the crowd has breached barriers. We do not know if there are injuries. We know only what is being released. The district seal remains. For listeners in the Capitol, I know this may be frustrating. For listeners in District 11, you may know more than we do from where you stand. Please remember that unauthorized transmissions from district squares are prohibited during Quell proceedings. We are receiving the feed again. The stage is visible. Tamar Reed is on the platform. Mina Soul is on the platform. Both are surrounded by peacekeepers. The child reaping bowls are being brought forward. The crowd is still audible even with the anthem bed. The boy tribute, Jalen Thresh, age 12. No, I'm sorry. I need to confirm that. Yes, age 12. The girl tribute, Amara Locks, age 15. The square is reacting again. Peacekeepers are moving. The feed cuts away to the Capitol crowd. Capitol Television is showing the Centennial Flame. We do not have the full District 11 picture, but the 4 names are official. Tamar Reed, Mina Soul, Jalen Thresh, Amara Locks. District 11 complete, at least procedurally. Emotionally, I suspect it is not complete at all. Now District 12. The district square is smaller, colder. The light is gray. Coal dust darkens the edges of the stage. Peacekeepers are present, but fewer than 11. The crowd looks compressed, as if the whole district is holding its breath. The administrator speaks. The words are the same as everywhere else. Duty, peace, responsibility. Every generation keeps the peace. The crowd does not answer. Ballots are handed out. The voting line moves slowly, very slowly. This is the kind of district where everyone knows the adults on the ballot because there is no ballot list. Any eligible name can be written. Every name belongs to a face. The camera shows the reaping bowls waiting. 2 glass bowls, 1 for boys, 1 for girls. Behind them, 2 sealed containers for adult ballots. Chance in glass, choice in metal. That is the image of the Quell. The count begins. No disorder, no sound. Just waiting. Adult male, Aurelius Vale, age 41, mine equipment repairman. Adult female, Selimar, age 38, apothecary assistant. There is a sound from the square when Selimar's name is announced, but it is not loud. It is the sound people make when they are too tired to shout. Child reaping. Boy, Nico Hearth, age 13. Girl, Lumen Gray, age 16. Nico Hearth is small. The escort has to adjust the microphone downward for him to say his name. He does not speak loudly enough. The escort says it for him. The Capital feed cuts quickly to the full tribute lineup. District 12 complete. No disorder, no hope either, from what I can see. And now District 3, last on the schedule due to technical oversight. District 3's central plaza is surrounded by screens, inactive tonight except for the official Capital feed. Communications workshops were closed overnight. Technicians remain under supervision. The vote is being conducted with paper ballots only, not electronic assistance. That is significant. The Capital is not taking chances. The administrator speaks. The crowd is visibly restless. District 3 citizens understand systems. They know paper ballots are slower, but harder to alter digitally. They also know every camera angle, every microphone position, every delay. Voting begins. There is a minor interruption near one table. A man appears to hold his ballot up toward a camera before marking it. Peacekeepers take the ballot. He is removed. The vote continues. Count begins. Adult male, Edrin Coyle, age 34, signal technician. That is noteworthy. Signal technician. Adult female, Vesinol, age 29, circuit assembly supervisor. Child tributes. Boy, Pavin Link, age 15. Girl, Jessa Wire, age 14. District 3, complete. All 12 districts have now selected their adult tributes and reaped their child tributes. 48 names. The Fourth Quarter Quell tribute field is complete. The Capital feed is displaying all of them now in a grid. 48 faces, some composed, some crying, some blank, some angry, some too young to understand the scale, some old enough to understand too much. The Capital anthem rises under the image. Every generation keeps the peace. The Quell office has certified all selections. The tribute trains will depart tonight and tomorrow morning, staggered by district. The Capital will receive the tributes with full Centennial honors. On paper, the process succeeded. The vote happened. The reapings happened. The names were certified. The Capital has its 48 tributes. But across the district feeds, as the anthem plays, I am seeing something difficult to describe. Not rebellion? Not yet. Not even disorder in most places. Something quieter. In District 4, citizens are not leaving the Harbor Square. In District 7, a section of the crowd has turned away from the screen. In District 8, workers are standing with hands linked, though peacekeepers are separating them now. In District 11, the feed is on the seal again. In District 12, the stage is empty, but the crowd remains. The Capital has completed the selection, but I am not sure the districts have accepted the meaning assigned to it. Perhaps they will. Perhaps after the shock passes, the Quell will become what the Capital intends, a solemn lesson, a shared civic burden, a reminder that peace belongs to every generation. But right now, in these first hours after the votes, the lesson feels raw. And raw things do not always heal into the shape intended. The tribute transport phase is beginning. District 1's 4 tributes are already aboard the train. District 2's will depart shortly. In District 4, Sullivan reportedly embraced several crew members before boarding. The feed cut away before we could see more. District 6's adult female tribute, Nemi Hale, carried the 12-year-old boy tribute onto the train after he froze at the platform steps. District 7's medic, Elira Venn, requested medical access to the child tributes during transport, denied initially, then granted under escort. District 11's adult tributes boarded under heavy peacekeeper guard. No interviews. District 12's train has not yet departed. The capital will prepare the arrival platforms. The stylists will prepare designs. Sponsors will prepare speculation. Analysts will prepare odds. The games machine, having received names, will now convert them into images. That is what it does. A person enters. A tribute appears. The Quell has expanded that machine to 48. Children and adults. Chance and choice. District and capital. Panem as arena. We are nearing the close of this part of our Centennial coverage. The district votes are complete. The tribute field is complete. The first trains are moving toward the capital. And I want to end this segment not with the capital view, but with the image that has stayed with me from today. In District 12, after the 4 names were called, after the anthem played, after the escort smiled into the camera, and the peacekeepers stepped aside, the 4 tributes stood together on the stage. The boy, 13, looking at the floor. The girl, 16, staring toward the crowd. The adult man with coal dust still on his collar. The adult woman holding her hands together so tightly her knuckles looked white even from the wide shot. Behind them were the 2 glass bowls. Beside them, the 2 metal ballot containers. No one moved. Not the tributes, not the crowd, not even the escort for a moment. It was as if the district had been shown the full sentence of the Quell, and no one yet knew how to speak after it. The capital will speak. Of course it will. It always does. It will dress them, parade them, train them, interview them, frame them, send them into the Centennial Arena beneath banners and anthem and light. But today, before all of that, the district spoke too. They spoke through ballots they were forbidden to leave blank. And tomorrow, when the tribute trains arrive in the capital, we will begin to learn what those ballots have created. This is Aurelius Vale. Capital National Radio, the Fourth Quarter Quell, has its 48 tributes. The Centennial Arena is waiting, and Panem, whether in celebration or silence, is watching. This is Capital National Radio. The tribute trains have begun arriving in the capital. Behind me, through the upper glass of the broadcast gallery, I can see the western approach lines glowing beneath the city. 12 rails, 12 arrivals, 48 tributes, and a capital that has not slept since the Quell card was opened. The Centennial Games are no longer only an announcement, they are entering the city. District 1 arrived first, as tradition and schedule allow. Their platform was lined in silver light, and the 4 tributes stepped from the train in coordinated white coats provided by the Capital Escort Office. Cassian Lorne and Vela Maris, the 2 adult tributes chosen by district vote, looked polished, disciplined, almost ceremonial. The younger tributes, Nilo Var and Selene Avar, appeared more nervous, though both held themselves well. District 1 understands presentation. It always has. District 2 arrived shortly after. Their reception was louder, stronger, more martial. Valen Creed and Mara Sile were greeted by the capital crowd with enormous approval. The younger tributes, Tovin Arks and Lysa Brandt, stood between them. I want to note, because many citizens noticed this, that Tovin looked visibly shaken during yesterday's reaping after a volunteer was rejected by Quell Authority. Today he appeared steadier, though he did not speak to cameras. District 4's arrival was quieter. Selaven, the adult female tribute, stepped down first, then turned immediately to help the youngest boy, Finnick Rel, from the train. The Capital Escort attempted to reposition them for the cameras, but Sela did not release the child's shoulder until the platform officer directed them forward. It created a slightly awkward moment in the official staging, but perhaps also a memorable one. District 6 arrived under increased medical supervision. We are told the boy tribute, Corin Vale, age 12, became ill during transit. He has been cleared by Capitol medical staff and will continue into tribute processing. The adult female tribute, Nemi Hale, remained beside him through most of the arrival ceremony. Again, that has been noted. District 11's train arrived under stricter escort. Tamar Reed and Mina Soul, the adult tributes selected after yesterday's tense vote, did not give platform remarks. The child tributes, Jalen Thresh and Amara Locks, were moved quickly through reception. Capitol officials described the arrival as efficient. The district feed did not linger. District 12 arrived last. There is always something stark about District 12's arrivals. Perhaps it is the contrast. Coal dust and Capitol marble, mine clothes and polished platforms. A small district arriving into a city built to overwhelm it. Roran Vale, the adult male tribute, stepped down with his cap in his hands. Selamar followed. Nico Harth, the 13-year-old boy, looked almost smaller under the station lights than he did on the reaping stage. Lumen Gray, the girl tribute, kept her eyes forward. None waved, none smiled. The escort smiled for all four of them. The tribute arrival phase is now complete. 48 tributes are in the Capitol. That number still feels strange to say. 48. Twice the normal field. Children and adults. Reaped and voted, chance and choice. The Capitol has spent the day transforming shock into spectacle. That is not a criticism. That is the function of the games. Raw selection becomes presentation. Grief becomes image. Fear becomes ceremony. The tribute parade will begin within the hour, and early indications suggest it may be the most elaborate parade in the history of the games. The official parade theme has been released. One Panem, one Peace. Each district will present its 4 tributes as a generational unit. 2 children forward, 2 adults behind, all framed by industry and heritage. The Capitol Stylist Corps has been given extraordinary latitude this year. We are told some designs include moving elements, projected memories, interactive light, and district-specific sound. Sound this year is expected to matter. The Quell office has confirmed that the tribute parade route will include 100 ceremonial chimes, 1 for each year of the games. At the end of the route, the 4 tributes from each district will stand together beneath the Centennial Flame, while the anthem is performed by the combined Capitol Chorus. This is designed to be unforgettable, and I suspect it will be. We are now receiving the first parade images. District 1 is preparing to enter the avenue. Their costumes are brilliant, almost difficult to look at directly. Silver white fabric, mirrored glass, jewel fragments set into collars and sleeves. The 2 children appear like cut diamonds. The adults stand behind them in long reflective coats that catch the light of every camera. The effect is very strong, very Capitol friendly. District 1 enters, the crowd responds immediately. A clean success for the stylists. District 2 follows with stone and bronze. Their platform is built like a moving fortress wall. The adult tributes wear dark armor-like garments, while the child tributes wear lighter ceremonial versions. The symbolism is obvious. Youth protected by strength, strength made noble through service. The crowd is cheering loudly. District 3 enters now. This one is interesting. Their costumes are not especially beautiful at first glance. Black structured garments lined with tiny points of blue-white light, like circuits under cloth. As the platform moves, the lights pulse across all 4 tributes in sequence, passing from adult to child, then back again. The adult male tribute, Edrin Coyle, a signal technician, appears to understand the system. He keeps looking down at the wiring on his sleeve. District 4 arrives with water projection beneath the platform wheels. The costumes shimmer like wet netting, green and silver, with salt spray effects rising behind them. Sullivan looks uncomfortable under the lights, but the Capitol crowd responds well. The child boy tribute is holding the rail. District 5, white arcs of light, turbine motifs, power lines across fabric, strong effect, technical, elegant. District 6, steel, rail, motion. The platform itself appears to ride on a moving track within the avenue. Nemi Hale keeps one hand near Corin Vale, though the stylists clearly position them apart. She keeps closing the distance. District 7, bark, red cloth, dark green, long vertical silhouettes. Elira Ven's costume includes a medic sash converted into ceremonial fabric. That is unusual. It may be a stylistic choice. It may also be a message to her district. District 8, woven fabric banners trailing behind them. The adult female tribute, Syrah Pell, has been dressed in layered red and gray cloth that looks from a distance like a factory banner. The crowd response is moderate. District 9, grain gold, dust veils, structured collars, understated. District 10, leather, rope, sun-baked colors. Stronger than expected. District 11 is entering now. The platform is covered in orchard branches and gold grain. The children stand between Tamar Reed and Mina Soul. Mina Soul, the field medic, is not wearing the decorative gloves provided to her. Her hands are bare. I don't know whether that is intentional. The Capitol cameras are avoiding close shots. The crowd is quieter for 11, not hostile, quieter. And finally, District 12. The Capitol expects fire or coal from 12, and tonight the stylists have chosen something severe. Black garments, matte rather than glittering. Fine lines of ember red light along the seams. No flames, no theatrics. The adult man, Roran Vale, looks like he is wearing the inside of a mine. Selamar's outfit has a collar shaped like a medical brace, or perhaps a miner's lamp frame. The children stand in front, small under all that darkness. The crowd response begins politely, then grows, not because the costumes are glamorous, because they are stark. Sometimes the Capitol loves beauty, sometimes it loves suffering made elegant. District 12 stylists have understood that. All 12 platforms are now moving along Victory Avenue. 48 tributes in the light. And citizens, I will say this. Whatever one thinks of the Quell's severity, the image is undeniably powerful. Panem has never seen a tribute parade like this. Each district presented not as a pair of children, but as a family unit, a labor unit, a civic unit, the young and the grown together, the chosen by lot and the chosen by vote together. The Capitol has made the Quell visible. That is its genius. A law can be read, a lesson can be explained, but an image enters memory, and tonight's image is 48 bodies beneath one flame. The platforms are reaching the Centennial Plaza now. The president is standing. The head game maker is beside him. The Quell card has been mounted in glass behind the presidential dais. The words are visible in gold script. Every generation keeps the peace. The anthem begins. The Capitol chorus fills the plaza. The tribute platforms lock into position. The children in front, the adults behind. The cameras are moving from face to face. Some tributes are performing, some are not. Cassian Lorne from 1 is smiling faintly. Valen Creed from 2 stands like a statue. Sullivan from 4 looks past the crowd. Nemi Hale from 6 is watching the child beside her. Elira Ven from 7 is looking toward the other adult tributes, not the president. Mina Soul from 11 has lowered her eyes. Aurelius Vale from 12 is gripping his cap behind his back. The anthem ends. The president raises one hand. The crowd goes silent. He welcomes the tributes to the Capitol. He tells them they carry the full burden and honor of the Centennial Games. He says the 100th Hunger Games will not simply crown survival, but display responsibility. He says Panem has sent you here not only to compete, but to be remembered. That line lands heavily. The tributes are escorted from the plaza now. The parade is complete. The Capitol is calling it a triumph. And visually, yes, it was. But we are receiving reports from district squares that the response was uneven. District 1 applauded. District 2 saluted. District 3 watched in silence. District 7 had a moment where the feed showed citizens turning away during the anthem before the camera changed angles. District 11's broadcast square reportedly remained under peacekeeper watch throughout the parade. District 12's screen was left on after the parade ended, but many citizens had already gone. The Capitol will interpret that as grief. Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is fatigue. Perhaps it is something else. We are entering the training days now. Over the next several days, tributes will be evaluated, trained, styled, interviewed, and prepared for entry into the Centennial Arena. The larger tribute field has required changes to schedule. Training groups will be divided by district clusters. Adult tributes and child tributes will train together, but Capitol officials say safety monitors will prevent unauthorized violence before the games. That may be more complicated than usual. Adults bring different tensions into training. For child tributes, the arena is terror, opportunity, and sometimes training fulfilled. For adults, the arena may be memory, anger, obligation, and calculation. Some of these adult tributes were selected because their districts admired them, some because their districts feared them, some because their districts were forced, some perhaps because local officials wanted them gone. Put all of that in one training center, and the Capitol will need more than etiquette instructors. We are now receiving the first reports from the training facility. District 1 and 2 adults are performing strongly as expected. Cassian Lorne and Valen Creed are both scoring high in weapons forms. Marisile from 2 is drawing attention for strength and mechanical trap awareness. Velamaris from 1 is reportedly skilled with blades and balance. District 4's Selaven has refused several stylized combat drills, but excelled at knots, water movement, and improvised tools. District 6's Nemi Hale is spending training time near the younger tributes. Some Capitol analysts call that wasted time. Others suggest she may be building trust deliberately. District 7's Elira Venn has drawn attention in medical stations and plant identification. Adult tributes with healing knowledge often create unusual alliance dynamics. They become valuable, then vulnerable. District 8's Sierra Pell has reportedly spoken with adult tributes from several districts during meal periods. That may be ordinary social contact. Training staff are monitoring. District 11's Mina Sol and Tamar Reed have remained close to their child tributes. Capitol commentators are calling this a protective instinct. The head game maker's office has no comment. District 3's Adrian Coyle, the signal technician, has spent unusual time near the arena system's demonstration wall. Trainers redirected him twice. Again, not a violation. But noted. The tribute interviews will occur tomorrow night. Given the adult vote, they may be more politically sensitive than usual. Capitol host teams are preparing questions that frame the vote positively. How does it feel to represent your district's trust? What does shared responsibility mean to you? How will you protect your younger district partners? What lesson should Panem take from your selection? Those are elegant questions. They may not receive elegant answers. We are now moving to the private training evaluations. As always, individual scores will be released publicly after the game makers assess each tribute. With 48 tributes, the process is long. Scores may matter more than usual because sponsors must divide attention across a much larger field. High scores from adult tributes could shift sponsor markets dramatically. The first scores are in. District 1 performed strongly. Cassian Lorne, 10. Vela Maris, 9. Nilo Var, 8. Selena Var, 9. District 2, Valen Creed, 11. Mara Sile, 10. Tovin Arks, 7. Lysa Brandt, 8. District 4, Sella, Ven, 9. Oren Pell, 7. Mara Tides, 8. Finnick Rel, 5. District 3, Edrin Coyle, 8. Vessa Knoll, 7. Pavin. Link, 6. Jessawire, 6. District 6, Nemi Hale, 7. Jarek Voss, 6. Leary Moss, 6. Cornvale, 3. District 7, Illyra. Ven, 8. Bram Alder, 8. Neth Rowan, 6. Kayla Birch, 4. District 8, Sierra Pell, 7. Tavis Rook, 7. Iman. Thread, 6. Laya Cross, 5. District 11, Tamar Reed, 9. Mina Soul, 8. Jalen Thresh, 4. Amar Locks, 7. District 12, Roran Vale, 7. Selamar, 6. Nico Harth, 3. Lumen Gray, 6. The Capital analysts are already grouping adult tributes into categories: combat adults, protective adults, technical adults, symbolic adults. That last category is new: symbolic adults. People who may not be most dangerous with a weapon but carry meaning from their districts. Mina Soul, District 11 Field Medic. Sierra Pell, District 8 Floor Organizer. Elira Ven, District 7 Medic. Nemi Hale, District 6 Mechanic, who has become visibly protective of a child tribute. Edrin Coyle, District 3 Signal Technician. These are not traditional favorites, but a Quell is not a traditional games. We are now entering interview night. The Capital is dressed in white and gold again. The interview stage has been expanded with 4 seats per district rather than 2. Caesar-style staging has been modified for the Centennial format. Children seated front, adults behind, then brought forward individually. Aurelius Vale remains your host here at Capital National Radio, and we will summarize the interviews as they happen. District 1 interviews well. Smooth, elegant, prepared. Cassian Lorne says his district chose him because beauty must be defended by strength. Vela Maris says she accepts the vote with pride. The Capital loves that. District 2 is disciplined. Valen Creed says the arena is service. Mara Sile says every generation must prove its loyalty. Tovin Arks is quiet, but Lysa Brandt carries the youth segment. District 4 is less polished. Sullivan is asked what it means to be chosen by her district. She pauses too long, then says, "It means they made them choose." The theater goes quiet. The host smiles and moves quickly to the next question. That answer is already being clipped on Capital social channels, mostly with disapproval. Some call it ungrateful. Some call it grief. The official transcript may soften it. But those of us listening heard it clearly. It means they made them choose. District 5 returns things to order, technical, calm, focused. District 6 interview is emotionally difficult. Cornvale, the 12-year-old, struggles to answer. Nemi Hale interrupts gently and says, "He's 12. The host laughs lightly and says, Of course, all tributes are brave at different volumes. The audience applauds, perhaps with relief." District 7. Elira Ven is asked whether she will use her medical skills in the arena. She says, "If a child is bleeding, I won't ask what district they're from." That receives mixed reaction. Capital viewers like compassion when it is ornamental. They become less comfortable when it sounds like a rule. District 8. Sierra Pell is asked whether being chosen by vote makes her proud. She says, "It makes me informed." The host asks what she means. She says, "It tells me who they were afraid to name." The host pivots immediately. District 11. This is the one Capital producers are watching closely. Mina Sol is asked what she wants to say to her district. She looks into the camera. She says, "I heard you." 2 words. I heard you. The audience does not know how to respond at first. The host asks whether she means she accepts the honor of their vote. Mina says no. The host moves on. That exchange will be edited in repeats. I am almost certain. Tamar Reed gives a more controlled answer. He says District 11 understands harvest. Some seeds are buried. Some return. The Capital audience applauds because it sounds poetic. I am not sure they understand what he means. District 12. Aurelius Vale is asked whether District 12 chose him because he represents its strength. He says District 12 didn't choose. District 12 survived the question. Again, the host moves on quickly. Selimar says very little. Lumen Gray speaks clearly, though. She says she will try to come home. Nico Harth does not spike. By the end of the interviews, the Capital broadcast team is working harder than usual, not because the tributes are openly defiant. Most are not. But because adult tributes answer differently. Children often give the Capital fear, charm, anger, or silence. Adults give implication. They know how to place meaning under words. They know how to answer one question for the host and another for the people listening at home. That may become a problem in the arena. The final night before the games has arrived. The Centennial Arena has been sealed. The tributes are in holding. Sponsors have placed early support packages. Capital betting markets favor District 2's Valen Creed, District 1's Cassian Lorne, District 2's Mara Sile, District 4's Sella Ven, and District 11's Tamar Reed among the adult tributes. Among youth tributes, Selene Avar, Lysa Brandt, Maritides, and Amara Locks are drawing attention. But there is unusual sponsor interest in the protective adults. Nemi Hale, Elira Ven, Mina Sol, Sierra Pell. That may reflect Capital curiosity, or district sympathy, or something harder to measure. Tomorrow at dawn, 48 tributes will rise into the Centennial Arena. The starting positions have not been revealed. The Central Capital Zone will contain the richest supplies, but not all supplies. District zones will contain sector-specific hazards. The games are expected to last longer than usual due to field size, but the head game maker has suggested early arena movement will reduce numbers quickly. That is a polished way of saying the opening will be severe. We are now minutes from launch. The Capital is awake again. Viewing parties are full. District squares are mandatory attendance zones. Every screen in Panem is tuned. The Centennial Arena is dark for the moment, shown only from above as a circular shape beneath morning mist. The 12 sectors are faintly visible. The Capital Center gleams even before sunrise. The anthem begins. The tribute pedestals are rising. 48 platforms. 48 tributes. The cameras begin finding them. District 1's Cassian Lorne is in the District 9 grain sector. Velamaris near District 7's Forest Edge, Nilovar in District 5, Selene Avar near the Capital Outer Ring, District 2's Valen Creed is in the Quarry Sector, which may be an advantage, Marasile near District 3's Electrical Grid, Tovan Arcs in District 12's Mine Sector, Lysa Brandt in District 1's Luxury Ruin, District 4's Selaven is in the Rail Yard, Oren Pell in the Docks, Finnick Rel in the Orchard Sector, Mara Tides near the center. District 6's Corin Vale is in District 11's field sector. Nemi Hale is far from him, near the power station. She is looking around already, searching. District 7's Elira Venn is in District 4's dock sector. Caliburch is in District 10's stockyard. Neth Rowan in the forest sector. District 11's Mina Sol is in the textile mill sector. Jalen Thresh is in District 1's mirrored hall. Tamar Reed is in the grain sector. District 12's Nico Hearth is in District 3's grid sector. Lumen Gray in District 6's rail yard. Roarin Vale in District 4's canals. Selamar in District 11's orchard. The dislocation is immediate. No district begins whole. No adult begins beside the child they tried to protect. The countdown is starting. 10, 9, 8. The capital crowd is counting aloud. 7, 6, 5. The tributes are still. 4, 3, 2, 1. The Centennial Games have begun. The platform's release. The first movement is toward the Central Capitol Plaza, as expected. Several career tributes rush inward. Valen Creed moves fast from the quarry. Cassian Lorne cuts across the grain sector toward a weapon cache. Marisyle enters the electrical grid instead of heading center. Interesting choice. The child tributes scatter. The first cannon sounds within seconds. We do not yet have the name. Then another. And another. The Central Plaza is already violent. With 48 tributes, the opening is chaotic beyond a standard games. The game makers have distributed supplies widely, but the Capitol Center still draws those willing to risk it. Valen Creed reaches the first weapon platform. Cassian Lorne intercepts a District 9 boy near a supply case. Cannon! Selaven from 4 avoids the center entirely and moves through the rail yard, gathering metal tools. Nemi Hale is running across the power station sector, ignoring supplies, trying to reach the field where Corin Vale began. That may be impossible. The arena sectors are already shifting. A rail barrier has moved across the boundary. The Centennial Arena is not static. The map of Panem moves. That is new. District borders are opening and closing. The Capitol Center remains fixed, but the outer sectors appear to rotate or lock at intervals. Movement between districts may require timing. This is an arena of geography and control. Very elegant, very dangerous. We have cannon counts now. 7 dead in the first 4 minutes. Names pending. The Capitol crowd is fully engaged. The games look like games again. After the difficult interviews, after the tense voting, after district unrest, the arena has restored the familiar grammar. Movement, danger, survival, cannon. Aurelius Vale here, continuing live coverage. The first hour of the Centennial Arena has been devastating. 12 tributes dead, several injured. The career cluster has partially formed, though the adult format complicates it. District 1 and 2 adults are working together for now, but some younger tributes are separated. District 4 has not fully joined them. Selaven has avoided alliance contact and appears to be moving toward the canal locks. Nemi Hale has found Corin Vale. That drew a strong reaction from many viewers. She crossed through part of the power sector, avoided a turbine hazard, cut through a rail maintenance trench, and reached the edge of the field where Corin had hidden under irrigation machinery. She did not take supplies first. She found the child first. Capitol analysts are divided. Some call it sentimentality. Others call it alliance building. In the arena, the difference may not matter. Elira Venn from 7 has also begun gathering injured tributes. She treated Caliburch's arm after reaching her in the stockyard sector. Then, unexpectedly, she also treated a District 9 girl with a leg wound. That may create a temporary protection group. The capital audience likes this, for now. Compassion makes good viewing when death remains inevitable. But the head game maker will watch any cross-district protective grouping closely. The adult tributes are not behaving entirely as expected. Not all of them, certainly. Valen Creed is hunting. Cassian Lorne is hunting. Marisyle is building something in the electrical grid that may become a weapon. Bram Alder from 7 has taken control of part of the forest machinery. Several adults are playing aggressively, but others are organizing. Nemi Hale, Elira Venn, Mina Sol, Syrah Pell, Tamar Reed, Edrin Coyle. They are not together yet, but they are behaving as if the arena is not only a place to win. They are mapping it, listening to it, watching the cameras. That last point has been mentioned twice by capital analysts. Watching the cameras. Most tributes avoid cameras or perform for them. Some adult tributes appear to be studying where cameras are hidden, which ones move, which ones carry audio, which ones trigger arena responses. That is unusual. The games reward survival. They punish distraction. Unless the distraction is the point, we are several hours into the first day. The cannon count stands at 16. The arena is beginning its first major environmental cycle. District 4's canals are flooding. District 12's mine tunnels are venting black dust. District 7's forest machinery has activated. District 3's signal towers are emitting pulses that appear to interfere with tribute tracking bands. District 11's orchard has begun dropping fruit. Some is safe, some clearly is not. The Capitol Center remains quiet, almost serene. White marble, gold screens, fountains, sponsor towers. It looks less like a battlefield than a promise. The best supplies remain there. Several tributes will likely be drawn inward by nightfall, and that, I suspect, is where the arena wants them. We have a development in District 8's textile sector. Syrah Pell has reached one of the old mill rooms. She is not alone. Edrin Coyle from District 3 is there. Mina Sol from 11 is approaching with Amara Locks. Elira Venn is visible 2 sectors away. Nemi Hale is moving in their direction with Corin Vale. This may be coincidence. It may also be the beginning of an adult alliance. Not a career pack. Something else. They are not collecting weapons primarily, they are collecting children. That is what it looks like. Again, the capital analysts are calling it a shelter cluster. Temporary? Emotionally driven? Likely unstable? Perhaps. But Syrah Pell has now covered one of the visible arena cameras with a strip of fabric. That is a violation of arena conduct, though tributes often damage equipment when possible. The game makers usually punish it quickly. The camera cuts to another angle. Edrin Coyle looks directly at that second camera. He points to it, then points to another. He is mapping the view. This is becoming notable. The head game maker has not intervened yet. The capital audience is intrigued. They may think this is strategy. It is strategy. The question is strategy for what? Night is approaching in the Centennial Arena. The first day's death toll is now 21. 21 out of 48. A severe opening, but not unexpected given the field size. The career group holds part of the capital outer ring. Valen Creed and Cassian Lorne have secured weapons. Marisyle has created a current trap near the District 3 sector boundary. Several tributes have already learned to avoid her. The protective cluster, if we can call it that, has formed in the textile mill sector. Syrah Pell, Edrin Coyle, Mina Sol, Nemi Hale, Elira Venn. Tamar Reed has joined them after crossing through the grain sector. With them are several younger tributes. Corin Vale from 6, Calibirch from 7, Amara Locks from 11, Nico Harth from 12, and possibly Laia Cross from 8. This is a large group, too large to hide for long, too mixed to be stable under normal games logic. But they have barricaded part of the textile mill using looms and fabric rolls. Edrin Coyle appears to be working on an arena panel. Sierra Pell is watching the doors. Mina Sol is tending to one of the children. Nemi Hale is speaking quietly to Elira Ven. Capital Commentary is framing this as a doomed mercy alliance. That may be accurate. Large, compassionate alliances often collapse in the games because resources run out, fear rises, and the rules reward betrayal. But I want to point out something. They are not behaving like people waiting to survive the night. They are behaving like people waiting for a time. Edrin keeps checking the light cycle through a broken panel. Sierra has positioned fabric strips near 3 cameras. Tamar Reed is carving something into the floor, perhaps a map. Mina Sol is speaking to the younger tributes one by one, as if preparing them. Preparing them for what? We do not know. The Capitol Center screens have just activated. The anthem is playing inside the arena. The fallen tributes are being shown. 21 faces. The tribute cluster in the textile mill is watching. Nico Harth from 12 covers his ears. Nemi Hale puts a hand over his head. The anthem ends. Then something unexpected happens. Sierra Pell stands. She walks toward the nearest uncovered camera. The Capitol feed stays with her. This is good television, I imagine the producers think. A grieving adult tribute. A speech, perhaps. Sierra looks into the lens. She says, "In District 8, we did not vote freely." The audio cuts. The camera cuts away immediately to a wide exterior of the textile mill. But the words were audible. In District 8, we did not vote freely. That is the first direct disruption inside the arena. The Capitol feed is now showing the career group near the Capitol ring. The commentators are speaking quickly about strategy, resource scarcity, night hazards. No mention of Sierra's statement. But many citizens heard it. The arena audio may have cut after the first sentence, but the first sentence aired. And in a games built on total broadcast saturation, one sentence can travel farther than intended. We are receiving word that district feeds may have heard different lengths of the audio. Capitol Central feed cut quickly. Some district feeds may have carried additional words due to relay delay. We are trying to confirm. This is a technical matter, citizens. A brief, unauthorized tribute statement. The games continue, but inside the textile mill, another tribute is moving toward a different camera. Edrin Coyle. The feed cuts away before he speaks. Another camera picks him up. He says something, but the audio is muted. A third angle catches only the end. The count before it was certified. The count before it was certified. The feed cuts again. Now the Capitol broadcast is showing the night sky over the arena. The commentators are calling attention to the beauty of the Centennial lighting system. The beauty is real, but something has shifted. The adult tributes are using the cameras, not to beg, not to charm, to testify. That is a dangerous word, but it is the one that fits. We are getting confirmation now that District 8's local feed carried Sierra Pell's full sentence before muting. The sentence was, in District 8, we did not vote freely. They voided the ballots until the right name rose. That is a serious allegation. It may be false. Tributes lie in the arena. Tributes manipulate sponsors. Tributes create sympathy. Adult tributes may have political motives. But the claim has aired in District 8. That cannot be unaired. In District 3, local feeds reportedly caught part of Edrin Coyle's statement. They closed the workshops before the vote because they knew we found the count before it was certified. Again, serious. Again, unverified. Again, broadcast. The Capitol has lowered arena audio across all feeds. The official explanation is technical stabilization after unauthorized audio tampering by tributes. Unauthorized audio tampering. Edrin Coyle may indeed be tampering. He has training. He is a signal technician. The game makers will act. The question is how. The night hazards are beginning early. District 8's textile mill lights have gone out. That is almost certainly a game maker response. Thermal cameras now show movement inside the mill. The cluster is splitting. Children in the center. Adults outward. They expected this. They expected the lights to go. Edrin Coyle has opened an access panel. Sirapel is pulling fabric from the looms and tying it into ropes. Mina Sol is moving the younger tributes through a low-service corridor. Elira Venn is helping Kayla Birch. Nemi Hale is carrying Corin. Tamar Reed is dragging a heavy spool across the floor to block a door. They are not panicking. This was planned. The Capitol commentators are now saying the Alliance appears more coordinated than previously believed. Yes, it does. We are now seeing the career group moving toward the textile sector. The game makers may have opened a boundary path. Valen Creed, Cassian Lorne, Mara Sile, and several others are advancing. This could end the disruption quickly. If the Adult Alliance is eliminated tonight, the Capitol may restore the games to familiar shape by morning. But before that happens, the textile mill's outer screens have activated. That should not happen. Arena screens are controlled from the Capitol Center, not district sectors. The screen flickers, the Capitol feed cuts away, but not before we see words appear. District 8. Ballot Table 3. Voided count. The feed cuts to the Capitol emblem. We are in a broadcast hold. Citizens, we are experiencing a temporary arena feed adjustment. Capitol technicians are working to restore the primary image. There is no danger to viewers. The games continue. We are receiving internal notice that several district feeds saw additional text. The Capitol is asking broadcasters not to repeat unverified arena screen content until official review. We will comply as far as possible, but we can say this. The Tribute Alliance appears to have accessed or triggered arena display systems inside the Centennial Arena. That is significant. The Centennial Arena was built with more cameras, more microphones, more screens, and more district-linked broadcast channels than any arena before it. A marvel of control. Tonight, perhaps also a vulnerability. The Capitol feed is back. We see the textile sector from above. The mill roof is opening. That is not normal. A hazard cycle. The roof panels retract. Rain begins falling inside the mill. Not water, white dust, or ash. Possibly textile fiber. Visibility drops. The careers are entering the sector. The Adult Alliance is moving underground. Cannon. 1, 2. We don't have names. The Capitol crowd reacts. The games violently reassert themselves. But while the feed follows the careers, a smaller picture appears in the lower corner of some district screens. We are told this is not on Capitol Central feed, but District 8 and District 3 viewers are reporting it. A child tribute reading from a paper. We do not have audio. Now District 11 reports a similar picture. Different audio. Different district feeds are receiving different fragments. That is not supposed to happen. The Centennial broadcast system is fracturing. The Capitol Central feed remains controlled, but district feeds may be receiving local overlays from arena systems. That means the Adult Alliance did not need to seize the whole broadcast. They only needed to fracture it. Different truths to different districts. This is becoming far more serious than a tribute speech. The head game maker's office has issued a statement. Tributes have interfered with arena equipment. The situation is contained. Viewers may experience temporary visual irregularities. The games remain fully under capital control. The games remain fully under capital control. That is the statement. Inside the arena, the careers have reached the textile mill's main chamber. It is empty. The protective cluster escaped below. The careers find fabric strips tied across cameras, panels opened, wires pulled loose. Mara Sile looks angry. She understands machinery. She knows someone has used the arena against itself. Valen Creed signals pursuit. The game makers activate a sector lock. The mill doors close. The careers are now trapped in the textile chamber as the fiber ash thickens. That may be a hazard response to the Alliance, but it has caught capital-favored tributes, too. The arena is becoming less clean. Capital control often looks effortless because the public sees only the result. But tonight we are seeing adjustments pile on adjustments. Mutes, cutaways, hazard cycles, feed holds, sector locks, emergency overlays. The games continue, but the broadcast is sweating. I should not phrase it that way, perhaps, but that is how it feels. We are now receiving confirmation of fallen tributes from the textile sector incident. 3 dead. Names pending. None from the primary adult alliance, according to preliminary tracking. 1 District 9 tribute, 1 District 10 tribute, and 1 District 1 youth tribute may be among them. That would be significant if confirmed. The capital audience is restless. The sudden death of a favored district tribute during an arena control response will raise questions, though officially all deaths occur within the game's design. The arena does not make mistakes. That is the doctrine. But tonight the arena is being forced to react, and reaction is not the same as design. The Adult Alliance has emerged near the border of District 3 and the capital outer ring. That is not accidental. Edrin Coyle is leading them. He knows where he is going. The Capital Center has broadcast towers, sponsor towers, announcement nodes, memory screens. If the Alliance reaches the center, they may access more than local sector equipment. The head game maker will not allow that. We are likely to see severe intervention. The arena sky above the Capital Center is darkening. A storm system is forming there. Artificial lightning, perhaps? District 3 hazards may be moving inward. The careers have escaped the textile mill and are also heading toward the center. The Alliance is moving with children, slower. They may not make it, and yet they seem committed. Why go inward? Survival would mean hiding outward. Winning would mean reducing risk. They are not pursuing ordinary survival. They are pursuing the broadcast. Citizens, this is the central fact of the night. A group of adult tributes appears to be attempting to reach the Capitol broadcast towers inside the Centennial Arena. Not escape. Not immediate victory. A microphone. That is what they are moving toward. And in a Hunger Games, a microphone may be more dangerous than a weapon, if the wrong person reaches it. The Capitol feed cuts to a wide shot of the arena. Beautiful. Terrifying. The 12 sectors arranged around the glowing center. The Adult Alliance moving like a small dark thread toward the white marble. The careers moving from the opposite side. Storm clouds gathering above, district feeds unstable, the death count rising. The Quell was designed to show every generation keeping the peace. Instead, the adult tributes have brought memory into the arena. And memory, once spoken live, is difficult to kill quickly enough. Good evening, citizens of Panem. This is Capital National Radio. I am Aurelius Vale. We are continuing live coverage of the 100th Annual Hunger Games, the Fourth Quarter Quell. The Centennial Arena is now entering what officials are calling an unscheduled stabilization phase. That is the phrase from the head game maker's office. Unscheduled stabilization phase. Let me explain as clearly as I can what we know. A group of adult tributes, primarily from Districts 3, 8, 11, 7, and 6, has moved from the textile sector toward the capital center of the arena. This group appears to include several younger tributes under their protection. They have already interfered with multiple camera and display systems. They have broadcast or attempted to broadcast statements concerning the adult district votes. Some of those statements were cut from the Capital Central feed. Some appear to have reached district feeds before they could be muted. The Capital feed remains active. The games remain active. The arena remains under game maker authority. But the broadcast is not behaving as cleanly as it normally does. And that, citizens, is the problem. Not only the movement of the tributes, not only the accusations, the broadcast itself. The Centennial Arena was designed to be the most complete viewing system ever built. Cameras in every sector. Microphones in terrain, structures, tribute garments, sponsor interfaces, hazard towers, and the Capital Center. The official purpose was immersion. The Capital wanted no part of the Centennial lesson to be missed. That design has now created a vulnerability. Too many microphones, too many screens, too many ways for sound to travel. The Capital built an arena that could hear everything. And now the wrong people are speaking. I want to be careful with that phrase. Wrong people in this context means tributes attempting unauthorized communication. It does not imply their claims are true or false. It means the arena is not a forum. It is the games. Speech inside the arena is part of strategy, performance, appeal, fear, deception, and survival. It must be treated as such. Still, the words have already traveled. District 8 heard Sierra Pell claim the vote was not free. District 3 heard Edrin Coyle claim the count was known before certification. District 11 reportedly received fragments from Mina Sol, though the Capital has not released the transcript. District 7 may have received audio from Illyra Ven naming citizens injured during last night's ballot disorder. That is unconfirmed. The Capital Central feed is not carrying those statements. Instead, we are being shown the arena-wide shot. The Alliance is moving. The careers are moving. The storm above the Capital Center is intensifying. And somewhere beneath that storm, the Fourth Quarter Quell is becoming something the Capital did not intend. The Adult Alliance has reached the outer marble district of the Capital Zone. The transition is striking. They are leaving the industrial sectors now, fabric dust on their clothes, coal streaks, cuts, water, blood, grain chaff. They are stepping onto white stone. Clean, bright, ceremonial. The Capital Center looks like a miniature of the city itself. Columns, fountains, gilded archways, wide stairs, sponsor towers, and screens mounted above the plaza. The children are slowing. Corin Vale from District 6 is limping. Nico Harth from 12 is almost being carried by Roran Vale now. Calla Birch from 7 has a bandaged arm. Amara Locks from 11 is holding a short blade but has not used it, as far as we have seen. Laia Cross from 8 is still with them, though she is pale and moving poorly. The adult tributes are forming a ring around them. Nemi Hale in front, Illyra Ven to the left. Mina Sol and Tamar Reed near the children. Sierra Pell close to Edrin Coyle. Edrin is looking upward at the broadcast towers. That is his goal. Not the fountain. Not the weapons cache near the central steps. Not the sponsor cases beneath the arch. The tower. The Capital feed cuts briefly to the careers. Valen Creed, Cassie and Lorne, Marisyle, and several younger tributes from 1 and 2 are approaching from the opposite side of the plaza. They are armed, faster, and better positioned. Under ordinary games logic, this should be the moment the Alliance breaks apart. The protective adults cannot outrun the careers. They cannot fight them directly and keep the children safe. They cannot hide in the white marble. There is nowhere to disappear. The game makers have made the center beautiful because the center is not meant to shelter anyone. It is meant to expose them. The storm overhead grows darker. Artificial lightning moves between the broadcast towers. The Capitol crowd is silent now. There is no music beneath the arena feed. Only the sound of footsteps, wind, and the distant hum of the Centennial systems. Edrin Coyle has reached the base of the first tower. He is opening a maintenance panel. Marisyle sees him. She understands immediately. She shouts something to Valen Creed. The audio catches only part of it. Not the tower. Then she runs. The careers are charging now. The adult alliance turns. This is going to be a confrontation. Nemi Hale pushes Corin behind a marble planter. Elira Venn pulls Kayla down behind a low wall. Tamar Reed takes a spear from the ground, but he is looking at Mina Soul, not at the careers. Sierra Pell stands beside Edrin, holding a blade in one hand and a strip of red fabric in the other. Edrin is still working. He has seconds. Valen Creed reaches the plaza first. Tamar Reed meets him. The impact is heavy. Tamar is older, not as fast, but strong. Valen is trained, precise, brutal. They exchange strikes near the fountain. Cassian Lorne moves towards Sierra. Velamaris is not with the career group. She may be elsewhere in the capital sector. Marisyle goes directly for Edrin. Nemi Hale intercepts her. That is not a fight Nemi should win. Mara is stronger, trained, armed properly. Nemi has a metal rod and one injured leg. But Nemi is not trying to win. She is trying to buy time. That distinction may define this entire alliance. They are not fighting for the crown. They are fighting for seconds. Edrin has opened the panel. The tower lights flicker. The Capitol central feed cuts to a wide shot, then to the sky, then back to the fountain. The audio stutters. The storm above the Capitol Center flashes. For 1 second, every screen in the arena lights at once, and then we hear Sierra Pell, not through one camera. Through the arena. Her voice is everywhere. In District 8, they counted until they got the names they wanted. The feed cuts, but not quickly enough. Edrin has done it. He has tied the local microphones to the announcement towers. The Capitol Central feed is now fighting the arena's own sound system. We are receiving reports that every district heard that sentence. Every district. Sierra continues, though the Capitol feed is cutting in and out. They told us we were choosing. They gave us names before the ballots. They watched our hands. The audio drops. Returns. A cannon sounds. We do not know who died. The feed cuts to a Capitol emblem, then back to the plaza. Sierra Pell is on the ground. Cassian Lorne stands above her, but the tower is still live. Mina Soul has taken the microphone line. Not a handheld microphone. There is none. She is speaking toward a hidden arena pickup near the base of the tower. Somehow Edrin's patch is still carrying it. Mina says, "In District 11, they fired into the square before the children were drawn." The audio distorts. The Capitol feed attempts to mute. But district relays are still receiving fragments. Mina continues, "They called it order. We carried the bodies before the reaping." The feed cuts again. The anthem begins suddenly over the broadcast. Too loud. The anthem is being used to cover the audio. But underneath it, we can still hear voices. Not clearly, not on all feeds. But enough. The Capitol crowd is no longer silent. There is confusion in the viewing hall. Some citizens are standing, some are looking toward officials. Capitol production staff are moving quickly behind the broadcast glass. Aurelius Vale here. Capitol National Radio remains on official feed. We are awaiting clarification from the head game maker's office. The games continue. The games remain under Capitol control. The arena is experiencing unauthorized tribute interference with broadcast infrastructure. That is the official line. Inside the plaza, Valen Creed has driven Tamar Reed back toward the fountain. Nemi Hale is down, but moving. Mara Sile has reached Edrin. She strikes him once across the shoulder. He does not leave the panel. She strikes again. Edrin looks up. He says something. The audio catches it. You built too many ears. Then Mara Sile pulls him away from the panel. The tower flickers. But another voice comes through. Elira Venn, District 7. She is holding Kala behind her and speaking toward a camera embedded in the marble wall. In 7, they arrested the ones who tore the ballots. 3 never came back. The Capitol feed cuts to a sponsor graphic. The sponsor graphic glitches. For half a second, the words appear across the bottom of the screen. 3 never came back. Then the graphic disappears. This is no longer isolated interference. The tribute statements are entering the broadcast layer. I am being told Capitol technicians are attempting a full arena audio reset. That means all microphones and local feeds may be temporarily suppressed. If they do that, the Capitol Central feed will likely lose tribute sound. It may also affect hazard control, sponsor delivery, and internal tracking. The Centennial system was deeply integrated. That was its strength. Tonight, integration is the weakness. The head game maker's office has issued a new command. The arena is entering stabilization. Hazards are activating across multiple sectors. I want to explain what that means. The Capitol is not ending the games. It is not evacuating the arena. It is not declaring failure. It is activating environmental systems to restore tribute movement and disrupt unauthorized occupation of controlled infrastructure. In practical terms, the arena is about to become much more dangerous. The Capitol Center fountain has stopped. The marble under the Alliance is shifting. White panels are opening in the ground. The broadcast towers are retracting behind protective shutters. Edrin Coyle is still near the panel. Mara Sile has him by the collar. Nemi Hale, bleeding from the head, has crawled toward Corin. Sirapel is not moving. Cannon, Sirapel is dead. District 8 adult female tribute, floor organizer, first adult to speak into the arena and name the vote. Cannon confirmed. The Capitol feed does not linger. The ground opens beneath the central plaza. Steam rises. The careers retreat toward the outer ring. The protective alliance is split. Mina Sol is pulling Amara Locks toward a column. Elira Venn is dragging Kala. Roran Vale has Nico Hearth over one shoulder. Tamar Reed is still fighting Valen Creed near the fountain edge. The storm breaks. Lightning strikes one of the broadcast towers. This is artificial, but it looks real enough. The tower explodes in sparks. The Capitol audience cheers at first because spectacle returns instinctively. Then the feed cuts to black for nearly 3 seconds. When it returns, we are no longer seeing the same image across all district relays. Capitol Central shows the tower fire. District 8 reports seeing Sirapel's face on their screen after her cannon. District 11 reports hearing Mina Sol continue speaking after the feed cut. District 3 reports a data overlay with numbers, possibly vote counts. District 7 reports the phrase ballot arrests appearing on the arena screen. This is what we feared. The full arena reset has fractured the feed further. The capital can still control what the capital sees. It cannot immediately control what every district receives. The games remain active. But Panem is no longer watching one games. Panem is watching pieces, and each district is receiving the piece most dangerous to it. I am being instructed to maintain official language. I will. The Centennial broadcast is undergoing technical correction following tribute interference. The capital urges citizens to remain calm and continue viewing through authorized channels. Unauthorized district feed fragments should be disregarded until verified. That is the instruction. But I need to say something as a broadcaster who understands how sound moves. Once a thing is heard, disregarding it is not the same as removing it. A district can be told not to believe a sentence. It cannot be made to unhear it. The Capitol Center is now in full hazard mode. Marble plates are rising like walls. The fountain has drained, revealing a deep, circular pit beneath it. Sponsor towers have sealed. Broadcast towers are sparking behind shutters. The central plaza, designed to represent peace and order, now looks like a machine dismantling itself from within. That image will be difficult to edit cleanly. The Capitol built this center to show control. Now control looks like destruction. The careers are regrouping on the north side. Valen Creed is injured but standing. Cassian Lorne is alive. Mara Sile has Edrin Coyle cornered near a damaged panel. She could kill him. She hesitates. That is surprising. Why? Perhaps she wants information. Perhaps she wants to know what he did. Perhaps she does not want to destroy the only person who understands the system while the arena is malfunctioning. Edrin says something to her. The audio is gone on Central. But District 3 viewers are reporting they heard him say, "You heard it too." We cannot confirm. Mara Sile looks up. She looks at the tower. She lowers her weapon slightly. Valen Creed shouts from across the plaza. Mara does not move. This is a dangerous moment for the Capitol narrative. A career tribute hesitating because a technical tribute spoke. The feed cuts away. We are now shown District 2's Valen Creed fighting Tamar Reed. That is safer television. Combat, strength, familiar. Tamar Reed is wounded. Valen is pressing forward. Tamar looks into a nearby camera as he falls back. The Capitol audio is muted. District 11 feed reportedly catches him saying, "We planted the names they buried." Then Valen strikes. Cannon! Tamar Reed is dead. District 11 adult male tribute. Orchard supervisor. His statement or fragment of statement has reached District 11. We are told the District 11 square is reacting strongly. Peacekeepers have formed lines. The feed has cut to seal. That is becoming common now. A district hears its fragment. The feed cuts to seal. The seal is supposed to symbolize authority. Tonight it increasingly means something happened off-screen. The head game maker's office has announced a temporary reduction in district-specific audio feeds. Capitol Central will continue uninterrupted. District feeds may be standardized to prevent technical irregularities. In plain language, the Capitol is trying to make Panem watch the same version again. It may be too late. The Adult Alliance has lost Syrah Pell and Tamar Reed, Edrin Coyle injured, Nemi Hale injured, Mina Soul alive, Illyra Ven alive, Roran Vale alive. Children scattered, but several still alive. The careers remain strong, but the arena hazards are affecting everyone. The games have become chaotic, but not in the usual way. Chaos in the arena is expected. Chaos in the broadcast is not. We are now several hours into the second day of the games, and the Capitol has regained partial feed control. The official death count stands at 31. 17 tributes remain. Among the remaining, Valen Creed District 2 adult male. Mara Sile, District 2 adult female. Cassian Lorne, District 1 adult male. Vela Maris, District 1 adult female. Sella Ven, District 4 adult female. Nemi Hale, District 6 adult female. Elira Ven, District 7 adult female. Mina Sol, District 11 adult female. Edrin Coyle, District 3 adult male. Roran Vale, District 12 adult male. Several child tributes remain. Corin Vale from 6, Calla Birch from 7, Amara Locks from 11, Lumen Gray from 12, possibly Mara Tides from 4, and 1 District 5 youth tribute. The field has narrowed, but not enough to restore normal games logic. Too many adult tributes remain, too many of them have spoken, too many districts have heard fragments. The Capitol has begun labeling the tribute statements as arena-induced disorientation and manipulative survival tactics. Official commentators are emphasizing that tributes may lie to attract sponsors, destabilize opponents, or provoke district sympathy. That is true. Tributes do lie. They always have. But the difficulty is that some of the statements refer to events outside the arena, in districts, during the vote. Citizens in those districts know whether the words sound true. A Capitol commentator can call Sierra Pell confused. District 8 knows whether ballots were voided. A Capitol analyst can call Mina Sol manipulative. District 11 knows whether shots were fired. That is why this is difficult. The Capitol is not only fighting the tribute statements, it is fighting local memory. And local memory does not require broadcast permission. We are now seeing district squares under increased enforcement. District 8 Square has reportedly been cleared twice after citizens began repeating Sierra Pell's phrase. District 7 is under curfew. District 3 communications workshops remain closed. District 11 feed remains mostly sealed. District 12 has mandatory viewing in the square, but attendance appears lower than expected after the first day. That last detail is sensitive. Mandatory viewing is part of games law. District citizens are required to witness. The games are not only punishment for tributes, they are instruction for everyone. If citizens stop attending or attend without watching, the Capitol faces a different kind of problem. Not open rebellion, refusal of attention. A regime can punish a body. It is harder to force the eyes to mean what they see. I may have phrased that too philosophically. Let me make it simpler. The Capitol can keep the screens on. It cannot easily control what people believe happened on them. The games continue. The arena has entered its night cycle. The Capitol Center is damaged but still standing. 1 broadcast tower destroyed, 2 sealed, 1 partially functional. The district sectors are unstable after the stabilization measures. Floodwater from District 4 has entered the rail yard. Coal dust from District 12 has spread into the Capitol Ring. Electrical pulses from District 3 are affecting sponsor drones. The forest sector is burning along one edge. The Centennial Arena was meant to show Panem arranged neatly around the Capitol. Now the sectors are bleeding into each other. Water in the rails, coal on marble, ash in the orchard, power in the fountains. The symbolic map is losing its borders. I doubt the game makers intended that image. Or perhaps they did, but not this way. Nemi Hale, Elira Ven, Mina Sol, Roran Vale, Edrin Coyle, and the remaining children have regrouped near the damaged Capitol outer ring. They are exhausted. They have fewer supplies. They are being hunted. But Adrian is still alive, and that matters because he understands what he touched. Mina Sol is speaking to him now. The audio is muted on central feed. We see only their faces. Edrin shakes his head. Mina points toward the last partially functional tower. Nemi says something sharply. Elira looks at the children. They are arguing. Good, that means they are still human in there. Plans made under desperation can become cruel even when born from mercy. Nemi does not want to move the children toward the tower. Elira appears to agree. Mina wants to speak again. Edrin seems uncertain whether the system will even work. Aurelius Vale is watching the Capitol Center like a miner listening for a collapse. Then Lumen Gray from District 12 steps forward. She is 16. Until now, she has mostly followed the adults. She says something. The central audio catches one word before muting. Names. Names. The adults look at her. Lumen points toward the tower. The children understand something perhaps the adults are complicating. The first statements were accusations. The next cannot be only accusations. It has to be names. Names are harder to dismiss. A claim can be called strategy. A list becomes a record. The group moves. They are going back toward the tower. The careers see them. Valen Creed begins pursuit immediately. Cassian follows. Vela Maris is circling from the luxury ruins. Mara Sile is not with them. That is important. Mara has separated from the career group and is moving through the District 3 sector alone. She may be hunting Edrin, or thinking. That could be more dangerous. The protective group reaches the damaged tower base. Edrin works again, this time slower. He is injured. His hands are shaking. Nemi holds the panel open. Elira watches the plaza. Mina stands with Lumen. The children are grouped behind Roran. The Capitol feed cuts to an overhead shot. No audio. The anthem bed begins again. That tells us the Capitol expects speech. They are trying to cover it before it starts. But the tower does not produce normal audio this time. It activates the arena screens. Every screen in the Capitol Center flickers. Then district by district, names begin appearing. Not spoken, written. District 8, voided ballot tables. District 7, ballot arrests. District 11, square casualties. District 3, pre-certified count. District 12, ration threat list. The feed cuts, returns, cuts again. But the words flash fast across different screens, mirrored through damaged sponsor displays and tribute tracking panels. This is not a speech. It is a leak. Edrin Coyle is not broadcasting audio now. He is dumping stored overlays into the visual system. Where did the data come from? The Tribute Alliance must have gathered pieces from district testimony, memories, perhaps stolen records from training center systems, perhaps from Edrin's own work before the games. We do not know. Some of it may be false. Some may be incomplete. But the screens are showing lists, names, counts, places, dates. The Capitol cannot easily call every name a hallucination. Valen Creed reaches the tower. Roran Vale meets him. Roran has no chance in a clean fight, but coal miners understand falling structures. He does not attack Valen directly. He strikes the damaged support near the tower base with a metal tool, then throws his weight against it. The support shifts. A shower of sparks falls. Valen steps back. Roran looks at Lumen. He says something. The audio catches it. Keep reading. Then Valen kills him. Cannon, Roran Vale, District 12 adult male, dead. Lumen does not move. She starts reading from the screen. The anthem bed rises, but she reads anyway. We hear fragments between the music. Dara Hobb, ration withheld. Mel Tarn, arrested after ballot refusal. Selamar, selected after apothecary petition denied. Nico Hearth 12, no volunteer accepted. The feed cuts to the Capitol emblem. The anthem becomes louder. Capitol National Radio is receiving only the official feed now. We do not have district audio. Reports from district squares are delayed. The head game maker's office announces that false data has been injected into arena visual systems by tributes. Citizens are instructed to disregard unauthorized names or counts appearing on damaged displays. False data. That is the official position. But again, in the districts, people know names. If a screen shows a name from your street, your factory, your field crew, your mine shift, the capital's word false must compete with your memory of that person. This is narrative collapse. Not regime collapse, not military collapse. Narrative collapse. The capital can still kill tributes. It can still control peacekeepers. It can still operate the arena. It can still declare a victor. But for the first time in this quell, it may not be able to tell Panem what the games mean and expect the meaning to hold. The capital center hazard activates again. The last damaged tower overloads. Edrin Coyle is thrown backward. Nemi Hale pulls him away, but too late. Cannon. Edrin Coyle, District 3 adult male, dead. The screen dump stops. The tower goes dark. The plaza is burning in several places. Mina Sol is still alive. Nemi Hale alive. Elira Ven alive. Lumen Gray alive. Several children alive. Valen Creed alive. Cassian Lorne alive. Vela Maris alive. Mara Sile still separate. The capital has stopped the broadcast breach. But the breach happened. That is the pattern tonight. The capital stops things. After they happen, the games move into the third day. The official capital feed has become noticeably cleaner. Too clean, perhaps. Fewer raw microphones. More wide shots. More commentator framing. More arena beauty. Less tribute speech. The head game maker has restored the games as spectacle. The capital audience is responding. Sponsor markets have reopened. The favored tributes are Valen Creed, Cassian Lorne, Vela Maris, Mara Sile, Sela Ven, and Mina Sol, though Mina's sponsor profile is controversial after her statements. Some capital sponsors have withdrawn from tributes accused of broadcast interference. Others unofficially seem more interested. The field is now down to 11. Nemi Hale died late this morning, protecting Corin Vale during a rail sector collapse. Her cannon sounded after she pushed him through a maintenance gap and was caught under a moving car. The Capitol commentary called it a tragic alliance miscalculation. District 6 heard something else. They watched an adult chosen by vote die, saving a child chosen by lot. That image will remain. Elira Ven died in the forest burn cycle after treating both Kayla Birch and a wounded District 5 tribute. She refused to leave the slower children. The official feed framed it as medical sentiment overriding survival instinct. District 7 may frame it differently. Mina Sol remains alive with Amara Locks. Lumen Gray remains alive, separated now from Nico Hearth. Nico's cannon sounded during the night. The capital did not show the death directly. District 12 received the cannon. That was enough. Valen Creed has become the dominant hunter. Cassian Lorne is still with him, though trust between them seems thin. Vela Maris has built a sponsor-supported shelter in the luxury ruin. Mara Sile has not rejoined the careers. She is in District 3's sector, studying damaged systems. This is unusual. She is a District 2 adult tribute, strong enough to compete traditionally, but she has spent hours near panels and towers. Perhaps Edrin's words affected her. Perhaps she wants advantage. Perhaps she wants to ensure no one else uses the systems. We do not know. The capital feed is careful when showing her. Very careful. The remaining tributes are being pushed toward the center by sector hazards. The arena wants an ending. All arenas do, eventually. The capital needs an ending. A clean one, a victor, an anthem, A crown? A story that closes? The problem is that this quell has opened too many things. It opened ballots. It opened district memory. It opened the broadcast system. It opened the question of who gets to say what happened. Now the capital needs one survivor to stand beneath the lights and let the old meaning return. One victor. One interview. One sentence. I survived because the capital gave me the chance. That is the shape they need. Whether they get it is another question. The final 6 are now confirmed. Valen Creed, District 2, adult male. Mara Sile, District 2, adult female. Valamaris, District 1, adult female. Selaven, District 4, adult female. Mina Sol, District 11, adult female. Lumen Gray, District 12, girl. Tribute, notably 5 adults and 1 child. The Fourth Quarter. Quell began as a generational arena. It ends with adulthood nearly swallowing the field. The child who remains, Lumen Gray, is not the strongest, not the best armed, not the most sponsored. She has survived by listening, hiding, and being protected by people now dead. That kind of tribute often carries more than strategy into the final hours. She carries obligation. The arena has shifted all remaining tributes into the capital center. The outer district sectors are burning, flooded, locked, electrified, or collapsed. Panem's symbolic ring has been destroyed. Only the Capitol Plaza remains. That is the final image. All roads to the Capitol. All survivors in the center. The marble is cracked. The fountain pit still open. Broadcast towers damaged. Sponsor screens flickering. Gold banners torn. The Centennial Flame simulation still burns above the central arch, though smoke from the forest sector has drifted into the plaza. The Capitol Center no longer looks untouched. That may be the arena's most dangerous image. Valen Creed attacks first. He goes for Sela Ven near the broken fountain. Sela is exhausted, but skilled. She uses a net line, almost catches him, but Valen cuts through it. Valamaris enters from the side and strikes Sela across the shoulder. Sela falls back toward the pit. Mina Sol and Lumen Gray are hidden behind a marble wall. Mara Sile watches from the electrical tower base. Again, she waits. Why? Valen kills Sela Ven. Cannon, District 4, adult female dead. The Capitol audience cheers, though not as loudly as expected. Sela had become popular in some circles. Her protection of Finnick Rel, who died yesterday in the canal lock, had drawn sympathy. 5 remain. Valen Creed, Mara Sile, Velamaris, Mina Sol, Lumen Gray. Velamaris moves toward Lumen's hiding place. She has seen movement. Mina Sol steps out first. Mina is wounded. She has no realistic chance against Vela in a clean fight. She does not fight cleanly. She throws dust from District 12's collapsed tunnel vents into Vela's face, then shoves her into a cracked marble stairwell. Lumen runs. Vela recovers quickly, but Mina has bought time. Again, seconds. This quell has been built on adults buying seconds for children, for speech, for names, for memory. Valen Creed sees Mina. He moves toward her. Mara Sile finally acts. She triggers something in the damaged electrical base. A pulse arcs across the plaza. Valen staggers. So does Vela. Mina falls. Lumen falls. Mara remains standing because she knew where to stand. The Capitol commentators call it brilliant strategy. Perhaps it is. But then Mara turns toward the nearest camera. The audio is supposed to be muted. It is not. Maybe she found a way. Maybe Edrin left something open. Maybe the Capitol simply missed one microphone. Mara Sile of District 2, Weapons Foundry forewoman, adult tribute chosen by one of the Capitol's most loyal districts, looks into the camera and says, "We heard them. That is all. We heard them." Then she attacks Valen. The Capitol feed cuts too late. The District 2 square hears it. That may be the most dangerous fragment of all. Not from 8, not from 11, not from 12, from 2. A career adult, a loyal district. We heard them. The fight between Mara and Valen is brutal and short. Valen is stronger but injured by the pulse. Mara knows his style. Perhaps they trained in similar systems. Perhaps District 2 builds its tributes with shared habits. She wounds him badly. He kills her. Canon. Mara Sile dead. District 2 adult female. The capital commentary is strained now. They call it betrayal within alliance, final stage desperation, tactical miscalculation. But the words we heard them have already moved. Valen Creed remains. Vela Maris remains. Mina Sol remains. Barely. Lumen Gray remains. 4. Vela is partially blinded by dust, but recovering. Valen is bleeding. Mina can't stand. Lumen has a small blade and no clear path. The game makers activate the final compression. The marble plaza begins narrowing. Walls rise from the ground. The fountain pit expands. Fire from the outer sectors closes in. No hiding now. Valen and Vela see each other. For a moment, old game's logic returns. 2 favored tributes, 1 final duel, capital spectacle restored. They fight. Vela is elegant, fast, precise. Valen is wounded, powerful, relentless. The capital audience finds its voice again. This is familiar. This is safe. This is the kind of violence the broadcast knows how to explain. Valen kills Vela. Canon. Vela Maris dead. District 1 adult female. 3 remain. Valen Creed, Mina Sol, Lumen Gray. Mina is on the ground. Lumen is near her. Valen turns toward them. The capital central feed moves closer. This is the ending the game makers are offering now. A strong victor from District 2. An adult warrior. A clean final kill. A return to order. Valen approaches. Mina whispers something to Lumen. The audio is muted, but we see Lumen shake her head. Mina pushes something into Lumen's hand. Not a weapon, a strip of fabric. Red-gray from District 8. Sierra Pell's fabric. It has been carried through the arena. Lumen stands. Valen stops. Perhaps he expects her to run. She does not. She ties the fabric around the damaged camera post beside her. A small red-gray strip against white marble. Then she turns toward Valen. Mina Sol forces herself upright. She steps between them. Valen kills Mina. Canon. Mina Sol dead. District 11. Adult female. Lumen Gray is the last tribute besides Valen Creed. District 12 girl. 16. Coal District. No strong sponsor base. No adult protector left. Valen Creed. District 2 adult male. Wounded but armed. The capital audience is ready. The cannon has barely faded. Valen moves. Then the arena does something unexpected. The strip of fabric tied to the camera post catches fire from a nearby hazard ember. The flame climbs the strip. Small. Almost nothing. But the damaged camera behind it turns on. Not a full feed. A local feed. It shows Lumen Gray standing beside the burning strip. For 1 second, every district screen displays her. Not Capital Central at first, district screens, then Central. The audio opens. Lumen says, "You made them choose." Valen stops. Maybe because the audio surprises him. Maybe because he wants the moment. Lumen continues. "You made them write names. Then you called it peace." The capital cuts the audio. Valen attacks. Lumen dodges barely. She can't beat him, but the arena floor under Valen is cracked from the earlier pulse and fountain collapse. Lumen runs toward the edge of the pit. Valen follows. She slips, falls, rolls. He steps onto the cracked marble. It gives way. Valen falls into the fountain pit. He catches the edge. Lumen is above him. He reaches up. For a moment she could strike his hand. She does not. She looks at the camera. The Capitol audio is muted, but her mouth forms words many will claim to read later. I don't know if they are right. The pit mechanism shifts. Valen loses grip. He falls. Cannon. Valen Creed dead. District 2, adult male. The arena goes silent. One tribute remains. Lumen Gray. District 12. Girl tribute. 16. The victor of the 100th Hunger Games. The Fourth Quarter Quell. The Capitol Central feed holds on her face. She does not raise her arms. She does not smile. She does not collapse. She stands beside the burning strip of fabric tied to a broken camera post in the ruined Capitol center of an arena built to prove the Capitol still controlled the meaning of Panem. The anthem begins. The cannon smoke clears. The head game maker's voice announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Panem, we have our victor." The Capitol audience applauds. It should be thunderous. It is not. It grows slowly, unevenly. Perhaps the audience is exhausted. Perhaps the games have been too strange. Perhaps the image is not what they expected. A child from 12 standing alone after adults from multiple districts died, buying seconds, speaking names, breaking feeds, and forcing the Capitol to destroy its own symbolic arena around them. The anthem continues. Lumen Gray stands still. The hovercraft arrives. The feed cuts before she is lifted. The Capitol has its victor, but the broadcast does not feel victorious. Not yet. The official closing ceremonies begin 3 hours later. By then, the Capitol has cleaned the footage. The most damaging arena fragments are not included in the recap. Sierra Pell's statement is omitted. Mina Soul's testimony is described as tribute distress. Adrian Coyle's interference is described as illegal tampering. Mara Sile's "We heard them" is not replayed. Lumen's final words are cut from the official sequence. The narrative is being repaired. The Capitol is very good at repair. The official story is this. The Fourth Quarter Quell tested every generation. Some tributes attempted unlawful manipulation. The arena remained under control. The Capitol preserved the games. Lumen Gray survived through patience, instinct, and the mercy of Panem's order. She is crowned beneath the Centennial flame. The president places the victor's crown on her head. The Capitol audience rises. Aurelius Vale here, describing what is now the final ceremony of the 100th Annual Hunger Games. Lumen Gray is standing in the white gown chosen for her by the Victor styling team. It is meant to evoke coal becoming diamond. Black underlayer, white crystalline overlay, ember detailing at the wrists. Beautiful work. She looks very young. The president is speaking now. He says the games have reminded Panem that peace is stronger than disorder. He says the Fourth Quarter Quell has proven that every generation bears responsibility. He says Lumen Gray stands as evidence that even the smallest district may be lifted by capital grace. The audience applauds. Lumen does not speak yet. The victor interview will follow. That interview is where the Capitol must close the loop. It needs Lumen to become a victor, not merely the last survivor. A victor in the Capitol sense. Grateful, altered, usable. The interviewer asks her what she learned. She looks down. The broadcast hall is silent. She says, "I learned people remember." The interviewer smiles. A polished smile. He says, "And what should they remember, dear?" There is a long pause. Too long. The producers are ready. You can feel it. The camera angle tightens. The music bed rises slightly. The interviewer leans in. Lumen says, "Who stood in front of them?" The interviewer laughs softly and says, of course, the courage of allies can shape the arena. He pivots to sponsor gratitude. But the answer has already landed. Who stood in front of them? Not who killed, not who won. Who stood in front of them? Across Panem, that sentence will find the people it is meant for. District 6 will remember Nemi-Hail standing in front of Corin. District 7 will remember Illyra Ven standing in front of Kayla. District 11 will remember Mina Sol standing in front of Amara. District 12 will remember Roran standing in front of the tower. District 8 will remember Sira standing in front of the camera. District 3 will remember Edrin standing in front of the panel. Even District 2 may remember Mara standing in front of Valen for one impossible moment and saying, "We heard them." The Capitol interview continues. It is controlled. It is edited in real time. It will be cleaned again before rebroadcast. The crown is in place. The victor is alive. The games have ended. On paper, the Capitol has won. But the district squares are not behaving as expected. We are receiving official attendance reports now. District 1 remained in full viewing through the victory ceremony. District 2 remained, but the square reaction during Valen and Mara's deaths is under review. We do not have more. District 3 experienced unauthorized screen interference during the closing recap. The feed was reset. District 4's Harbor Square emptied before the victor interview. District 6 citizens reportedly remained, but many turned their backs during the closing anthem. The official statement describes this as a crowd orientation issue. Crowd orientation issue. District 7 viewing attendance dropped sharply after Illyra Ven's death. Peacekeepers restored order, but the square was not full during the crown ceremony. District 8's textile hall screens were covered with fabric in several sectors. Capitol officials removed the coverings. District 11's feed was not publicly shown during the final ceremony. The district seal remained on national view. District 12's square was full when Lumen was crowned, but after the anthem began, many citizens lowered their eyes. Lowered eyes. Not a riot. Not a march. Not a raised hand, just lowered eyes. The Capitol still broadcast, the screen still played, peacekeepers still stood, the anthem still sounded, but in several districts people stopped watching in the way the Capitol requires. That is difficult to punish. You can order a body into a square. You can order a screen turned on. You can order silence. You can order applause, sometimes, but can you order belief? Can you order the eyes to carry the lesson properly? That is the question the Fourth Quarter Quell has left behind. The Capitol will not phrase it that way. The official report will say the Centennial Games concluded successfully. One victor crowned. Arena systems stabilized. Unauthorized tribute interference contained. District order maintained, the Quell lesson delivered, and all of that will be true in the administrative sense. The Capitol still has its victor, it still has its army, it still has its trains, it still has its cameras, it still has its anthem, it still has the crown. But tonight, after the 100th Games, there is something it does not fully have. Agreement. Panem watched the same games, but did not receive the same meaning. The Capitol saw survival. District 8 saw a vote count. District 3 saw a signal opened. District 7 saw a medic name arrests. District 11 saw a field worker speak of bodies carried before a reaping. District 6 saw an adult die for a child she had not known a week earlier. District 12 saw a girl win by refusing to become the shape the Capitol had prepared for her. Different memories now exist inside the same event. That is dangerous. Not immediately, perhaps. Not with flags lowered and peacekeepers armed and the victor escorted under guard to the recovery wing, but dangerous over time. A single official story can be repeated until it becomes history. A fractured story keeps cutting the mouth that tries to repeat it. We are now receiving the final capital statement of the night. The 100th Annual Hunger Games have concluded with District 12 tribute Lumen Gray, named victor of the Fourth Quarter Quell. The games demonstrated the enduring strength of Panem, the shared responsibility of all generations, and the capital's continuing commitment to peace. Reports of unauthorized arena interference are under review. Citizens are reminded that the official broadcast remains the sole certified record of the games. The official broadcast remains the sole certified record. That sentence matters. The capital knows there are other records now. Fragments, district recordings, memories, witnesses, unapproved audio, screens filmed before they were covered, names repeated before they were erased. The capital can certify one record. It cannot make it the only one people carry. In the capital, the celebration continues. Fireworks over Victory Avenue. The Centennial flame burns. Lumen Gray's face appears on the main screens, softened, brightened, framed by the victor's crest. The crowd cheers. The sponsors toast. The commentators praise the arena. The president smiles. The anthem returns. In District 12, the square remains quiet. In District 8, fabric has been pulled back from the screens, but many workers are gone. In District 6, the platform is nearly empty. In District 7, peacekeepers are moving through the square in lines. In District 11, we see only the seal. In District 3, technicians are being questioned. In District 2, a crowd stands under the image of Mara Sile that the capital has not replayed. We do not know what comes next. We should not pretend we do. The games have not ended the capital. The Quell has not freed the districts. No army has risen. No arena door has opened. No hovercraft rescue has broken the sky. The capital named a victor, as it always does. A child survived, as one always does. The dead remain dead. The trains will return one body alive and 47 in memory, as the games have always done. But something in the ritual has changed. For 100 years, the capital forced the districts to watch children die and called that watching peace. Tonight, it forced the districts to choose adults, watched those adults speak, tried to silence them, broke its own arena to stop the words, crowned the last child standing, and then told Panem what the night had meant. And for the first time, not all of Panem accepted the explanation. That may sound small. It is not. The Hunger Games are not only violence, they are interpretation. They say this is what happens when you rebel. They say this is what the capital saved you from. They say this child died, so you remember. They say this victor lives because the capital is merciful. If the districts stop believing those sentences, even while the screens remain on, then the capital has a problem deeper than a broken tower. It has a meaning problem. And meaning, citizens, is harder to repair than marble. The Fourth Quarter Quell is over. The Centennial Arena is silent. The official recap is already being edited. The victor is under medical care. The capital is celebrating. But across Panem tonight, in squares and homes and factories and barracks and fields, people are remembering different parts of the same broadcast. Some remember the crown. Some remember the cannon. Some remember the anthem. Some remember Sira Pell saying the vote was not free. Some remember Edrin Coyle saying the arena had too many ears. Some remember Mina Sol saying bodies were carried before the reaping. Some remember Marasile, Loyal District 2, looking into a camera and saying, "We heard them." Some remember Lumen Gray standing beside a burning strip of fabric and saying, "You made them choose." The Capitol will tell Panem which of those memories are official, but it can't choose which ones stay. This is Aurelius Vale, Capitol National Radio. The Fourth Quarter Quell has concluded. Lumen Gray of District 12 has been named victor of the 100th Annual Hunger Games. The Capitol remains secure. The games remain law. The anthem is playing. The screens are still on. And yet, in district squares across Panem, some citizens are no longer looking up. The Capitol still named a victor tonight. But for the first time in 100 years, Panem did not agree on what had been won. Good night.